Okay, okay. Okay, 1 second here, everyone. Can everyone hear me good here? Hey everyone, how you guys doing? So, yeah, normally on Fridays I do a Red Dead stream. But today I wanted to do a GTA stream because I thought we'd discuss the leaks or I shouldn't say leaks, more the delay. And we'll do a Red Dead stream on Sunday. For people wondering when the Red Dead stream is, we'll do it on Sunday. We'll do it earlier also. Yeah, and sorry for starting the stream kind of late today. I slept a little bit. I had a really rough day today. I got woken up. I streamed Yakuza 0 to 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I went to sleep like an hour later, and I got woken up at like 9 a.m. by a fire alarm test they were doing in my apartment, and I couldn't go back to sleep, and then did the video, and then slept for a little bit later on too. Hey everyone. But anyone needs help with anything, I can help you in the meantime while I guess I'll help Shimon here first, and I'll discuss this, how much more betrayal can Polly take, professional? He feels like he's been stabbed in the heart. I feel like some people are overreacting and acting like it's the end of the world. I will say this, I will say this about it is, you know, I'm what I think we can all agree on. I think pretty much everyone can agree on, including everyone in this chat. What's going on here? Oh, okay. What I think most of us can agree on here is that I'm not necessarily pissed about the delay. What I'm really pissed about is I'm pissed about the messaging. That, you know, we have had like a year and a half with no information whatsoever, nothing. And then a year and a half later, out of nowhere, we just get this random message, and they just basically say, oh, sorry, we're delaying, GTA 6 until May, 2026. What they should have done, if they have to delay it, okay. But what they should have done is they should have included some screenshots and a trailer. That's what they should have done. They should have included gameplay and a trailer. And they should have included that trailer and said, sorry that we're delaying the game by a year, but here's a trailer just so you can see what the game looks like. We're working really hard on it. Give the fans a little bit of sneak peek of what the game looks like, basically just to, keep their hopes up. But it was just doing a message like that after a year and a half of waiting for no trailer, a year and a half waiting, just that random message like that, and basically just saying, oh yeah, here, game's being delayed until May 2026. That just, that's basically like a slap in the face. And so I can understand why people are really angry about that. Oh, thank you, Cayman, for the super chat. You can't upload the Days Gone videos any faster. I'm enjoying the series almost as much as your Yakuza videos. Nothing will beat Yakuza. Thank you, Cayman. And I promise I will have another Days Gone video tomorrow. I would have had one today if it wasn't just for my, terrible sleeping today. But tomorrow, I promise I will have another one. So tomorrow, there will be another one uploaded. Thank you. And thank you, Suspect13, for sponsoring the channel. I'm working at a restaurant for 1 year now. 1 year is now hell. Why? What's wrong, Sleep Punch Man? Is your manager being rude? And thank you, Nikki, Gaming ATM. Hey man, sorry for not playing with you for a very long time. Fortunately, I've been doing Uber just to pay off my car. Very busy. So sorry. Oh, it's okay, dude. You don't have to apologize. Yeah, just play with me whenever you want, dude. You don't have to apologize. I understand people are busy. Thank you for the super chat. Will I play Oblivion? Yes. I just don't know when. Maybe we could do it in June. But yeah, Oblivion has been a heavily requested series. I've seen a lot of comments. Please do Oblivion. Please do Oblivion. So yeah, the only thing it's gonna be a little difficult for me with Oblivion is it's gonna be difficult trying to figure out a cosplay, like what I'll dress up as. That's gonna be a little difficult to figure out. But we'll definitely do a playthrough of Oblivion. I just had it. If Days Gone Remastered hadn't come out, I would have been doing Oblivion now. But I just didn't expect Oblivion just to drop out of like nowhere like that. Pro, so far so good. I have 6.6 million. I was planning to beat the Pacific, then I'm buying a facility, and or agency. I used to have 7.5, but I upgraded my Hakachu drag. What would you recommend to do? I would, instead of investing in the facility, invest in the agency, because the Doomsday Heist, you do get a bonus completing it the first time, but people don't really do Doomsday Heist, and they can get a bit annoying, some of them. If you don't have the Kasatka submarine, then I would say get it. Because the Kasatka submarine, you can spend like $1 million only on it, and you will get all of your money back in the first attempt on your heist. Thank you, Marsoff, for the super chat. Oh, and thank you, Zombie Spiral. Oh, thank you, dude. $200 donation. That is the largest donation that I've seen in a very long time. Thank you, dude. I really appreciate it. Hey, Pro. Like I said in my last super chat, I finished basic training and now I'm in military school, learning to be a truck driver for the army. Any tips or advice on how to stay motivated and keep on wanting to go forward? Mentally drained and exhausted here, but I'm trying to finish. Thanks. Thank you, Zombie Spiral. Thank you for the super chat. That's one of the largest super chats I've ever gotten before. $200 donation. Everyone give a special shout out there to Zombie Spiral. Thank you, dude. How to stay motivated and keep on wanting to go forward. I would guess to you work hard possibly towards a promotion. You're in what branch are you in? You're in the army? Is that what you're in? Zombie Spiral? Oh, army, yeah. Learning to be a truck driver for the army. Okay, right there, yeah. So yeah, I would say to keep working hard, work towards a promotion. It might take some time. But I also don't know too much about the military. You start out as private first class. That is the first rank, I believe, right? And what state are you working in, Zombie Spiral? Thank you for the super chat. I hope everything goes good for you. You are seriously the best GTA YouTuber. Never clickbaited us once. Thank you, Pluto. Can you help me with the casino heist? Yeah, I could a little bit later, Pierston, Mr. Professional. Thank you for the super chat. And I can help you also, yeah, and Zombie Spiral, if you're in here, I can help you too. Also, Uber is paying less, $10 for 30 kilometers. Oh. 30 kilometers, that's what, like 20 miles? And that's Canadian money, right? Which Canadian dollars, I think, are valued a little bit less than the U.S. That's not too good. I hope everything goes good for you there. I hope everything goes good for you, Nikki. You're one of the best people out there who doesn't demand money to make content. Thank you, Phoenix. Thanks, dude. I'll be working in Alaska. Oh, interesting, Alaska. I actually really wanted to visit Alaska. I'm probably actually I possibly am going on vacation there this year or next year. I always wanted to go to Anchorage, and I really wanted to see Anchorage. But yeah, Alaska is a very interesting place, and the thing about Alaska is that state that has no state income tax, and there's no sales tax too. So there's no sales tax, and no income tax. That's really cool. There's a lot of states out there that have no income tax, but they have a sales tax, and then there are states that have no sales tax, they have an income tax, but Alaska doesn't have either. And I know that if you are a if you are a resident of Alaska, I think you have to stay there for like 6 months. You do get like a percentage of the oil money back. I think it's like $1,500 or $2,000 a year, which is that is nice. But yeah, yeah, I wouldn't mind living in Alaska. I don't mind the cold, so I hope you like it there too. Yeah, I know some groceries are more expensive in Alaska, but it depends on what exactly though, GB. Copeland would love Alaska. Yes, he would. Aren't grocery prices pricey in Alaska? It depends where. If you go to like Fairbanks, grocery prices are probably going to be a little bit more, but Anchorage, grocery prices should be cheaper because Anchorage is near the ports, and also Anchorage is the thing about Anchorage, Alaska, is Anchorage actually has the third busiest cargo airport in the world. A lot of people don't know that. Like, you wouldn't think that Anchorage, Alaska would have the third busiest cargo airport in the world. Not airport, but cargo airport. So for, goods coming in, it's the third busiest, airport in the world. You would fit right in Eastern Europe. My parents are actually from Eastern Europe. Do I have a favorite Elder Scrolls game? It's gonna be a hard decision between Skyrim and Oblivion, because I love both games so much. But Zombie Spiral, are you considering staying in Alaska, or is that just only for your military service there? I like your video about Richard guilt-tripping his viewers for donations. Which Richard? Which YouTuber is that? Ghostface? Only for my military service. Gotta give them 3 years there. Well, make sure that you look into it if you want to stay in Alaska, because Alaska is a very beautiful state. I would consider living there too. It is a very, but yeah, but I guess you'd have to get used to the winter though. Some people really don't like the winters, but. Oh, Wings of Redemption, that's who Richard is. Yeah, I don't know his first name, I just knew him by his channel, but yeah, And Zombie Spiral, do I have you added on, PSN? I can add you on PSN. Thank you again for the $200 donation. That's one of the largest donations I've ever gotten. Thank you, dude, I really appreciate it so much. The thing is, this is also about the GTA 6 delay, guys. This is pretty much confirming that that GTA 6 is going to be coming out to PS6 also. This delay is pretty much confirming that. Rockstar fanboys finally have the answer on when GTA 6 comes out. Maybe they can use all of this time to finding a job. Thank you, Jimmy, for the super chat. The thing about this is I really hope that this cuts down on the clickbait. It's not going to end the clickbait, but I really hope it cuts down on the clickbait, because this you know how a lot of the stupid GTA clickbait YouTubers, they would constantly speculate on the release date. They're like, oh, it's coming out this month, and they make multiple videos on it. Hopefully that finally cuts down on the clickbait now, because we have like a definitive release date, May. But I can already imagine what's gonna happen. I can already imagine in like a couple months from now, they're gonna be like, oh, May is delayed again. There's no trailer. That's what they're gonna be like. Do you have a PSN also, Zombie? I could add you. These GTA kids and fanboy girls on S-Watch over a game delay is crazy. I'm living real life. They should play older GTA games. They probably haven't touched and stopped centering GTA as their idle livelihood. Thank you, Sweet Pumpkin. Thank you for the super chat. I will tell you something, is some of these GTA fanboys, I will tell you, are just like, they are just, I like crazy. I don't know if I would use the word for that, but basically just only thinking about the game. And like a perfect example of that, like it's fine to be a fan of GTA, but a fanboy is different than a fan. A fanboy is not the same thing as a fan. A fan is somebody who just likes the series, but they're willing to criticize the developer. Fanboy is somebody who's like, obsessed with the developer, absolutely obsessed with the game. Like the game is their life. And I will say this, like a couple years ago, Rockstar made like a tweet a couple years ago, and their tweet, they talked about somebody passing away from their team, like an art director or somebody in charge of art, I believe it was, but somebody from Rockstar, Games passed away, and they made like a tweet honoring that person. And if you look at the comments on that tweet, like all of the top comments are just like, where is GTA 6? Where is the trailer? When is the release date? Stuff like that. And I was like, my God. Is like, they're making a tweet about, one of their, friends who passed away, and, you people are just, stemming them, asking them when GTA 6 is going to come out. They have no compassion whatsoever. And the same thing happened with Ray Liotta. When Ray Liotta passed away and Rockstar made, like, a tweet, I know they were doing the exact same thing. They were just, they were making, like, a bunch of comments saying, where is GTA 6? Where is it? It's like, somebody just passed away. It's like, show some compassion, but that was it. It was just, people were just asking about GTA. Which place should I get the Master Control Terminal? The Garments Factory or the arcade? Also, there was an earthquake hitting Porto Williams and Ushuaia, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Oh, hey, Long John. Get the arcade, because the arcade also has the Master Control Terminal, and the arcade allows you to do the casino heist, Marsoff. Older Saints Row fans are laughing at GTA fans. Maybe in a way to Suspect 13, but I could see GTA fans laughing at Saints Row for what it's become, unfortunately, too. But Zombie Spiral, are you still here, dude? Will you put Division 39 in the list of the top 10 most evil criminal organizations, and will there be the 7 from Kane and Lynch 1 as well? Yeah, but if I make like a video like that, Gunner, I would have to I would do like a video first on like the most evil, criminals in top 10 most evil criminals in games, and then maybe I could do it like top 10 most evil criminal organizations. You should play Expedition 33. I love your lore videos, especially your GTA videos. Oh, thank you, Troy. What kind of game is it? Is Saints Row basically dead? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I cannot. Saints Row has no chance of recovering. It is finished. It's And about the earthquake, how bad was the earthquake? That was in Argentina then, Marsoff? Long live the king that's not listening. Wait, who Ortonic? Azen? Who is that? Turn-based RPG, okay. Is Rockstar playing with us? No. This is not a troll. Something actually happened that they have good reason to delay the game. But it's like I said, is that the messaging is just so bad. Like the messaging is just really bad, really bad. Like they should have just given us a trailer. If they're gonna delay the game, okay. But just leaving like a message like that with like a year and a half of no information, they could have at least put out a trailer. That's what they should have done. I thought the PS6 won't be coming out till mid-2027, so what does the GTA 6 have to do with the PS6 getting confused a little bit? Hey, Shimon Moore, what I'll tell you about that is that this is basically just that GTA 6 will have a PS6 version, because think about it this way, GTA 6 is coming out like halfway through 2026, right? And if PS6 comes out 2027. That's only going to be a year and a half later after GTA 6 comes out, and GTA 6 is going to be one of the most popular games ever. So even when PlayStation 6 comes out, people are still going to be, playing GTA 6 on PS6. And Rockstar is definitely going to want to capitalize on that, and they're definitely going to want to release a PS6 version. And think about it, if they released a PS6 version, they would make a ton of money again. So, like, literally, they would make so much money if they released a PS6 version. They would sell a PS5 version, and then they released a PS6 version, so a year and a half later, they'd make so much money still on that. So, I don't think that Rockstar would pass that up, and I think it's pretty much, confirmed that there will be a PS6 version, too. But I will tell you, PS6 version better have some differences between, PS5 and PS6. There better be some differences. I guess maybe Gunner, but I will tell you something. The dictator that you fought against in Just Cause 4, I couldn't stand that dictator. Like, he was boring. He was the worst villain in the Just Cause series, and he was such a forgetful dictator that I even forgot his name. I remember Gabriella. I remembered her, but because she appeared a little bit at least. But I forgot the dictator's name in Just Cause 4. But Di Ravello in Just Cause 3 was like the best villain in the Just Cause series. Espinosa, yeah, that was his name. Yeah, he was such a forgetful villain. He was so forgetful. The only thing that was cool about Espinosa was his death. Like, that was like the death was really good. Like how they did that. Like, Rico turned the weather machine against him. That was like a really cool death for him. But other than that, it was just he was like a boring villain. He only appeared twice, at the very start of the game in one cutscene, and then the second one. That's it. Not anymore. I know there was no boss battle against Espinosa. Uswia. It's written Uswia, but the H is silent. Okay. It happened in the Drake's Passage. It mostly affected the Chilean side, but was also felt in the Argentinian side. Okay, Marsov. Well, I hope everyone is okay there. Was there any damage? I'm playing Fight Night Champion. Can you recommend me any matchups, something to do in the game? What I would do if is that try playing a little bit of multiplayer and try playing as Andre Bishop in the multiplayer, because Bishop is one of the best fighters in the game, and you play as him in the single player, and playing as him in the multiplayer and fighting against other players, it'll give you a bit of experience with practicing with Bishop. Whoa, what the? Oh, that was kind of funny there. Can I create a playlist for the channel updates? And how is Spain and Portugal influenced by Arabic Moorish invasion? Look up point Nemo loop sound, Patrick. Um, well, the Spain. I know that Spain was conquered by the Arabs, and then the Spanish retook Spain. I think that was actually right before. It was like less than 100 years before Christopher Columbus's voyage. It was in the 15th century when the Spanish, I know, retook their country. I actually don't know much about Portugal at that time. A little bit more about Spain, but the one thing I am surprised about with Portugal is I'm surprised that that there was not that many major wars between Spain and Portugal, considering there were two empires and Portugal was completely boxed in by Spain. Oh yeah, there was a tsunami alert and aftershocks. Luckily, no one was hurt. Thank you, Marsoft, for the super chat. Well, it's good that no one was hurt. Man, earthquakes can be absolutely terrifying. Oh, I don't really want to get into politics 6 raids. I'm gonna stay away from that. I'm not upset about the delay. I'm upset because Rockstar doesn't have enough respect for its fans to drop a new trailer after a year of waiting and delay. I agree with you, Feline King. I agree with you 100%. I'm with you on that. And I think most of the chat is with you on that, too. That, like I said, if they had to delay the game, okay, then that's fine. We don't want the game to be a, glitchy, buggy mess. But they should have included a trailer. There should have been something there. Screenshots, some kind of trailer, something there. My PS username is Zombie Spiral. I'ma go to sleep, Pro. Big day tomorrow. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Love the videos you make, man. Can't wait for the next lore video. Good night, everyone. Hope you have a great night. Thank you, Zombie Spiral. Thank you, man. Thank you for the $50 super chat. You gave me a lot of donations this stream. $250. Thank you, dude. I really appreciate it, Zombie Spiral. Thank you, man. Thank you for the super chats, dude. Thank you, man. And I will add you later today. I'll add you. Thank you, dude. My next lore video also will be on Reznov in Black Ops 1. I'll make a playlist for the channel updates? Yeah, I could do something like that. What is Point Nemo, Blue? What is that? Thank you, Ephelist, for the super chat. Rockstar could at least upgrade Red Dead Redemption 2 Red Dead Online to 60 FPS. Yeah, you're right, GB. And the thing about this, I'll tell you also. Speaking of Red Dead Online, one group of people that I'm really pissed at. One group of people that I'm really annoyed at is I'm really annoyed at the people that were defending Rockstar Games when they abandoned Red Dead Online. When Rockstar abandoned Red Dead Online, like, close to 4 years ago, there was people that were basically saying, oh, Rockstar needs this to, needs to abandon Red Dead Online. We'll get GTA 6 faster. This is good. They need to work on GTA 6. We'll get GTA 6 faster. Well, those people who are defending Rockstar abandoning Red Dead Online, I'll tell them right now, like, where is GTA 6? You said that we get it sooner if Rockstar abandoned Red Dead Online. Well, now we're not getting, GTA 6 until, like, 5 years after Red Dead Online has been abandoned. Is that sooner for you? But oh my god, like, I've seen so many comments where Red Dead Online got abandoned and people defending Rockstar just screwing over the Red Dead community and just saying, oh, it's we're gonna get GTA 6 faster, we'll get it faster, and now it's like, now that they look really stupid with their comments. That was like, there's so many people that were defending Rockstar over that. It was disgusting when people were defending that. The city is pronounced as Ujia. I've been there twice. Never felt an earthquake when I went to Mendoza. I had an anxiety attack and an obsession if an earthquake is gonna hit me, like a constant paranoia. Thank you, Marsoff. I had an anxiety attack and an obsession if an earthquake is gonna hit me. You never felt an earthquake when you went to Mendoza, but have you felt it before? But is Argentina common for earthquakes? I didn't know that I don't know about that much. They could have two different teams for Red Dead Online and GTA 6. Well, here's the thing about this, is that even if Rockstar did not have enough people to develop Red Dead Online and GTA 6, they could have hired more people. That's it. And they could have still made profits from it. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. You have to remember this about Rockstar. Rockstar is a multi-billion-dollar company, and what kind of servers are they using on this game? You guys know. What kind of servers does GTA Online run on? Does anybody know in chat? I know. I'm just confirming it with chat here, but it's the really cheap servers. It's the servers where, everybody's basically sharing. Everybody's sharing the exact same IP. It is a, peer-to-peer. Yep. Peer-to-peer. So, like, literally, I will tell you something. How can Rockstar Games use peer-to-peer hosting? How How is that possible? Like, how? They are such a rich company. There is no excuse for this. And I swear, if GTA 6 online has peer-to-peer hosting, I am gonna have an absolute meltdown. Like, I am just gonna flip out if GTA 6 has peer-to-peer hosting. Like, I'm gonna flip out. I'm gonna make like a video just ranting about it, just absolutely yelling about it, because I'll be so pissed. GTA 6 better not have peer-to-peer hosting. That's what I'll say about it. So it's just ridiculous. You have a multi-billion-dollar company. You know, how much more shark card money do you need? It's like, you know, make dedicated servers. Why do you keep wearing the mask all the time? It's my GTA avatar. I'm just dressed up as like my avatar. Aside from El Sueño, which Santa Blanca boss is or bosses or buchons are really evil? El Muro, the head of security, is really evil in the Cardinal is the least evil. El Cardinal, he's the least evil out of the Santa Blanca people, but the El Muro is probably the second most evil behind Sueño. What about El Yayo? Which one is El Yayo? Remind me, which one is he? To be honest, I'm happy they delayed it so Forza Horizon 6 gets announced this year, most likely, since updates are slowing down and Rockstar can make the game better. Thank you, Mark, for the super chat. Thank you, dude. And I will say this about this, too, is the GTA 6 delay is not the end of the world for me, because there's plenty of open world games that I'll play this year, like, you know, Mafia: The Old Country. I'll play, Mind's Eye. So there's it's not the worst thing for me. And I will say this, it does allow me to play Liberty City Stories this year, because Liberty City Stories has its 20-year anniversary this October, and I'll play it for the 20th anniversary, so we'll do another playthrough of it, but that'll be in October. But when I do a playthrough of it, we'll make it special. I'll make it special, so I'll make it different than the playthrough 4 years ago. I'll have a lot more outfits, so a lot more cosplay for that one, for example. Argentina has earthquakes on the western side in Buenos Aires. It is so rare. I hate when Rockstar doesn't fix stuff about black screens, MC, CEO limit, crashes. The servers are really suck. There's earthquakes on the west, you said, but it's rare. Yeah, Rockstar has not fixed a lot of stuff, and you remember the Titan glitch on GTA Online? How long did that take them to fix? Like, you know, how long was that? What, like 7 years? 7 or 8 years? Has anybody gotten the Titan glitch recently? Is it still in the game? Because I haven't heard anybody getting it anymore. But has anybody still gotten it? Like, it's that glitch where your you can't deliver the cargo when you're selling crates. Like, you fly over it and you cannot does anybody still get that one? El Yayo is the head of production in Santa Blanca. El Emisario's grandpa. Oh, about him. He's not that bad. You know, he has a family that he cares about. You've gotten the Titan glitch, Hollow? I don't have multiplayer in Fight Night Champion, so can you give any other recommendation? There is a career mode, I believe, in Fight Night Champion. Why don't you try that one out? But the thing about it, the really important thing to know about Fight Night is that you have to try to mix up your fighting styles depending on who you're fighting, because it's not, you know, one fighting style is not going to work on, you know, another person. But my fighting styles have always been basically what I've always done is I've always upgraded my body hits, and I would just, you know, keep hitting them in the body. That's what I would just keep doing, just keep hitting them in the body left and right, and I would just be trying to get them as tired as possible, and then the last few rounds just absolutely go out on them and just keep hitting them until I knock them out. That's basically always been my strategy in Fight Night. A lot of players don't go for body hits, by the way. They only go for headshots. But I've always gone for body hits. When is that Resnov video coming out? I'll try to have it out next week, dude. Yeah, just been busy with just a lot of stuff recently. Yeah, and here's the thing is, Mark, you know, GTA Online is getting boring, but Rockstar could have added content to Red Dead Online. You know, we could have had 4 years of content by now. You know, that game could have been growing fairly well. But, you know, they abandoned it for what? For what purpose was Red Dead Online abandoned for? For lazy, you know, cheap GTA Online updates? You know, the GTA Online updates have not been good for, you know, how many years now? You know, I cannot remember the last time we got a GTA Online update that we, like, really loved. Like, it was probably The Contract. The Contract is the last time we got a DLC that was, like, really good. Red Dead Online was not garbage. Red Dead Online was a decent game. You have to also remember that GTA Online was garbage at launch. It was. GTA Online was a disaster at launch. It was so glitchy, buggy. There was, your characters would get deleted. You get stuck in the cloud screen. There was barely any way to make money. Everything was so overpriced. The contact missions would only give you, like, $4,000 per each mission. It was disgusting. And GTA Online did not become the game it is today until the Heist update in March of 2015. Rockstar better be planning to drop another trailer after this to prevent riots from breaking out. Thank you, buddy, for the super chat. I know you're probably joking on that, but there's I can just imagine that if Rockstar delays GTA 6 again next year, the outrage will be massive. I can imagine that. Like, it will just be really, really, like, one of the biggest video game outrages of all time. I'll do Liberty City Stories this year, yes, in October. Am I gonna play Kino der Toten? Yes. This week. People weren't there to witness the super early glitchy days of GTA Online, but I remember. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people that defend GTA Online, they act like it never had any glitches when it was, you know, if you've played GTA Online at launch on, like, PS3 and Xbox 360, you remember the glitches, the disaster. It was really, really bad. Like, really bad. I'll finish the Fallout 3 DLCs this year, Brian. Just came back to GTA. All MC business are max. Same with nightclub, garment factory, and salvage. Can you do an updated solo lobby daily runs? I will tell you this, Red Bull. I am gonna work on this year. I'm gonna try for the summer. I'm gonna make one final GTA Online money guide, and this one final GTA Online money guide will be my all-time best money guide, like my all-time best one, because I'm gonna put so much work into this one, so it's gonna be a pretty long video, but I'm gonna explain everything, and I'm gonna put timestamps for people who don't have time to watch the video. But basically, this guide that I'm thinking of, I don't know exactly how much you can make because I haven't fully tested it, but I would say somewhere around $30 million a week or more even, if you this guide that I'll be making. But it will probably be my best, you know, my best GTA Online guide of all time. But sometime in the summertime, we'll will do that. Does that work, Red Bull? And the guide for the most part is solo, but the only thing you're gonna need some friends for is near the end. Near the end, when you're doing some sales, you're gonna need some friends. But but other than that, most of it is doable solo. Just the very end, you need some people to help you. Did I read your super chat? Oh, I'm sorry, Marsoff. Let me see here. Oh, I missed it. I'm sorry. Buenos Aires, the capital, is on the east. Earthquakes rarely pass through the area. Argentina mostly gets earthquakes on the west, because of the Andes. And the Argentine west are time bombs. The capital's on the east. Earthquakes, they're rare. They mostly get on the west because the Andes. I know what the Andes are. The Andes are the mountains. Chile and the Argentina west are time bombs. Oh. Is it anything like the San Andreas Fault? Because the San Andreas Fault, I know, is like one of the largest earth plates and tectonic plates in the world. But it's there's a pretty big risk that one day it could trigger a massive earthquake. Scientists say it's unlikely, but it is that possibility. I think San Andreas Fault is near San Francisco. Correct me if I'm wrong. No, Tom, not today. Let me see. Will I do a playthrough on Cold War? Yes. I just don't know when. I have a lot of games to play right now. I can't listen to it right now, Ephelis, but I could listen to it later and then, tell you what I think of it. Tell you what I think of it next stream. Do I have a favorite boxer and Fight Night champion? My favorite boxer and Fight Night champion? Probably Bishop. Yeah, I probably use Bishop the most. Oh no, LCPD. I did add it to my wish list, and I read the description and looked into the screenshots, but not much more than that. Well, Tom, two things. I told you that I don't want to do the Humane Labs heist. I've said that to you a few times. And also the second thing is that there's still a lot of people that you need to help sell. There was a lot of people that you did not get the chance to help sell, a bunch of times. So you still have to help those people sell. So I don't want to do the heist, but also there's a lot of people that helped you with your stuff, but you didn't help them with their sales. Personally, I can only do solos. I'm happy to hear there's one final one coming with all the newer content. Any tips for now? Thank you, Red Bull, Craze. I can try to maybe make a solo-only guide too, but because I've made so many solo guides that I'd have to think about how I'd make a new solo guide if I make one. Any tips for now? The best way to make money in GTA Online is to combine your businesses. Combine your businesses with other businesses. Like, have your MC businesses produce, have Acid Lab produce, have Bunker produce, Nightclub produce, and then during that, do something else like Cargo or Hangar Cargo, or you can do heists like Casino Heist and Cayo Perico Heist. I'll do a playthrough Wildlands sometime in November. Please tell them to invite me. Well, Tom, why don't just anybody who's selling in the lobby, just message them and just say, hey, can I help you sell? You also have to help Mr. Wick too. Mr. Wick needs help with some stuff. I know that too. You could help Mr. Wick with his prep missions if you want to. You can do that. I knew the game is coming out in 2025 was doomed from the start. If the game was really going to come out this year, we would have gotten trailer 2 months ago. Not necessarily. There are games like Ghost of Yote, for example, was coming out this year, but we have gotten no trailer whatsoever until recently. Like, I think it was only a couple days ago that we finally got the release date, like October. So it does happen where games are announced like on a specific year and they don't get like a trailer until like halfway through the year. It does happen. Thank you, Silver Foxline, for the super chat. But yeah, it was. I would say Rockstar could have been a little bit more. They could have revealed more stuff. That's what I say about Rockstars. They could have, given us screenshots, a trailer, something. I played GTA Liberty City Stories on my mobile phone. Thank you, Dr. Dr. Beyond there. And what currency is that? TRY? I don't know if I've ever seen that one before. But Liberty City Stories on phone, I know, mobile is actually, the graphics are actually a bit better than the original. I never realized when I was younger, playing in GTA Online, I never knew that the city of Westwood, Morningwood, where UCLA is so ironic, because now I'm at UCLA and I can't unsee it now. Yeah, and the thing about that, Alex, is that when it comes to cities in the GTA world, Rockstar are so detailed with a lot of their cities, especially in the HD universe, that their cities are actually based on a lot of locations. Like, for example, I'm from New York, and I can tell you that a lot of the neighborhoods in GTA 4 are based on real life neighborhoods. Like Hove Beach, for example, Hove Beach is based on Brighton Beach. Firefly Island is based on Coney Island. What other neighborhoods? East Island City is based on Long Island City. What else is there? Fresh Meadows is based on Flushing Meadows. South Bohan is based on South Bronx. I'm trying to think of some of the other neighborhoods in GTA 4, but yeah, a lot of the Alderney City is based on Jersey City. That's in New Jersey. The Andes was formed by the Nazca Plate. Chile had the most powerful earthquake back in 1960. Living in Chile would trigger a panic attack if you never felt an earthquake before. Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you for the super chat, Marsoff. So the mountains were formed by that tectonic plate then. The thing about the Andes, what I do know about them is I know that the Andes are very, very high mountains. You wouldn't think that in South America there would be such high, tall, snowy mountains, freezing mountains, but there are. So the Andes has some very, very tall mountains. I remember there was a plane that crashed in the Andes like decades ago. It was like a really brutal story. It was like a soccer team, I think it was. Like they scraped like the side of the mountain with a plane, and the plane crashed like near the very top of the mountain, and the pilots died, and the survivors of the soccer players' survivors, they had to resort to cannibalism. They ate like the pilots' bodies because they were like freezing to death and they were hungry on the mountain. They had nothing to eat for like weeks. It was like a really brutal situation. Eventually, they got off the mountain. Like most of them got off. They went down like the mountains. It was I think this happened in the 70s or the 80s when it happened. But that was they're from Uruguay. Yeah. Any chance they'll remaster GTA 4 in the meantime? I like what Bethesda is doing with Oblivion. Also, love your GTA 4 character analysis videos. Salute. Thank you, Wrestling Hoopla. Any chance they'll remaster GTA 4? No, I don't think so. I think if they would have remastered GTA 4, we would have heard something by now. I don't think so. But I like what Bethesda is doing with Oblivion. And I'm going to do an Oblivion playthrough. I just don't know when, dude, but I'll do an Oblivion playthrough. Thank you, Wrestling Hoopla, for the super chat. Thank you, dude. That also happened in Argentina, where all the soccer players died, but the goalkeeper was alive. It was a really, really bad situation. I remember about that story when reading about it that the soccer players were scared that they were gonna go to hell. They were like really religious people, and they were scared that they were gonna go to hell for resorting to cannibalism. Like they were terrified of that. But even though it's really horrible, cannibalism is really bad. The pilots were dead, so they didn't kill the pilots. The pilots died on impact, and they were trapped on the mountain for weeks. They had no food. They were going to die. It was a desperate situation. But when they resorted to that, they were scared that they were going to go to hell for that. And I think it was like the Pope John Paul II said that they're not going to hell or something like that, and that calmed them down. But that was it was like a really scary horror story, like a really like that. And the thing is, when I saw that documentary about that, like I was a kid when I saw that documentary about that plane crash, and I had no idea that there were such high mountains in South America when I was a kid. Like I thought that South America was like a really tropical place. It was like everything was like really hot. So I did not imagine there was like such tall mountains that there was like blizzards on the top of that you could freeze to death. But yeah, the Andes are very, very tall mountains in South America. Hey Pro, thanks for what you said. No problem, Sean. If you visit Alaska on your vacation, will you visit the Alaska-Russia border? Possibly. But I want to visit the Anchorage. That's the place I've always really wanted to visit. I really want to visit Anchorage. What's up? If I like Anchorage, if I like the city a lot, I might consider like buying a condo there one day if I really like the city a lot. But I guess we'll have to see. I was thinking about maybe possibly oh here.
Take the fleet to terminal, and my guy there will hook up the rest.
Okay. I was thinking about maybe doing an Airbnb in Anchorage because I know it is a popular place for like tourists. And you would think it's not, but Alaska is a pretty popular place for tourists because they especially at Anchorage is on the water, so tourists are gonna come in the summer for like the lakes and the ocean, and the winter time they'll come for like the skiing and snowboarding and ice fishing. So yeah, I do want to visit really Anchorage. I want to see what it's like. I heard Alaska is the least visited state. That is true. The thing about is Anchorage. I will say this about Anchorage is Anchorage should have a Fallout game take place there. I know Fallout 3 had the DLC Operation Anchorage, but it was like a simulation. Like I could imagine they could actually have like a game there, like a Fallout game. Like it could actually be set there, and you could like you could find like remnants of like the battlefields, stuff like that, and maybe you could find like ghoul soldiers, like ghoul American and Chinese soldiers like 200 years later. I think that'll be a pretty cool. Fallout 76 took place in my state. You mean West Virginia? Yeah, I heard a lot of people from West Virginia. I heard them say really good things about Fallout 76, that it was pretty accurate with the land and the locations, the landmarks. I don't know, Gunner. I can't make any promises. I have like a whole list of games to play this year, but just know I'm gonna play a large, really cool, interesting series of games. But what I'm basically gonna do is this month, May, we're gonna be doing Days Gone Remastered and finishing up Ace Attorney, and in June we will be doing 2 games in June. In June we'll be doing Mind's Eye. I know that game is coming out. And we will do also the other game, Half-Life. I've never played Half-Life before, and I know a lot of people have said, play Half-Life, please play Half-Life. So I've never played Half-Life before, so it'll be my first attempt playing that game. And then once we finish those 2 games in June, I'll do a poll, and in that poll I'll put a bunch of different games, and I'll ask people what game they want me to play. And Oblivion will be on that poll also, because I know a lot of people have requested Oblivion. I had a horrible day, but thank you for the stream. Well, I'm glad I was able to cheer you up, Mr. Waifu. When is Mafia coming out? I think Mafia is coming out August. Is it August? What month is Mafia coming out? Is it August? I think it's August, right? Yakuza Kiwami, I'll do it this year. I want to get 100% completion in Yakuza 0. But I guess we'll, July or August. Okay. When are you doing Saints Row 4? I still gotta do the Saints Row 3 DLCs. San Andreas Fault Line also appears in GTA San Andreas under the Vietnamese ship. Really? It's in GTA San Andreas? I didn't even know that. I gotta check that out then. Metal Gear, yes, Metal Gear Solid 2 we will do before August. So the Metal Gear Solid 3 is coming out in the remake is coming out in August. We'll play that. So we could do Metal Gear Solid 3 in July. We could do that. Oh, and over 500 viewers today. One of the most popular streams I've done this year. Thank you guys all for the support. I really appreciate it. If you guys are enjoying the stream, do drop a like. And if you're new to my channel and you like my content, subscribe to me. It helps me out a lot. But thank you everybody for the support on the stream today. I really appreciate it. Okay. Let me help Converted because he was asking earlier, and then I can help Alvinor right after this. Will I play the 2 expansion packs for Half-Life? I didn't know that there was 2 expansion packs, but if they're like story DLC, sure. Final question, any business or activities to avoid? I'm only doing the top 2 MC businesses, for example. Anything I should focus or avoid? Yes. If you do not have all of the MC businesses, and you don't have the a CEO crate warehouse, and you don't have the bunker, do not get the nightclub. Because one of the worst mistakes I've seen people do, this is one of the worst things people do, is people buy the nightclub as their first business. And that is like one of the worst mistakes people have done, is like buying the night. I remember I made like a video like top 10 mistakes that people make in GTA Online, like business mistakes, and like number 1 on that was they bought the nightclub without buying other businesses. That is like one of the worst mistakes that you can do. Also, here's another thing. One of the most common mistakes that I see people make on GTA Online, like it's such a common mistake, it happens so much, is and honestly speaking, this mistake has happened so many times that it's annoyed me in a way too. And the reason that it's annoyed me is because I have seen so many people on GTA Online where they complain that they don't have enough money for businesses, but at the same time is that whenever I go into their CEO like offices and I go into like their warehouse, guess what I see when I look inside their garages? Like the people who oftentimes like say like that it's too hard to like get money and stuff like that in the game. I see like literally like all of the most expensive supercars. I see like all of these expensive supercars, and the problem is that people, what people do in this game? What people do is when they get money in this game, they don't think about investing that money. They don't think, oh, let me buy another business with this money. Let me, invest it into something else. They think, oh, I want to get the cars now. I want to buy the cars. And then they fill up the, their personal garage, which is nothing but like the most expensive supercars. They have no money, and then they will say like, it's too hard to get, money in this game. No, it's but yeah, that's one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen people do, is that people will just fill up their you never want to be buying a bunch of cars in this game until you have the businesses. When you have the businesses, you've got everything set up, all of the businesses, you have like a steady flow of income in this game. That's when you want to start buying the cars. It's like the same thing in real life too. It's like you don't want to buy luxuries until you have a steady flow of income. That way you get into debt. So it's really the same thing when you think about it too. But it's ironic. GTA Online can help people with economics, but that's it. I have seen so many people, and most of the time, the people that make these mistakes are kids. Most of the time, they will just buy all the supercars and they'll never buy the businesses. But yeah, I've seen people do that all the time. Good to see Yakuza 0 completion 100% completion has driven you insane. Glad you like the game. Yeah, I'm enjoying it, Simon. But I will be honest with you, Simon. I was getting really pissed off at that stupid Outrun arcade game. Like, I was doing that on Yakuza last night. I was trying to get past 5 million points. It was like the traffic. I kept spinning me out, and I kept running out of time, and it was really really annoying me on that one. As I commented before, fire drill alarms are terrifying. Once I was staying with my parents and sister in LA, and the fire drill alarm tripped, and I thought that was really a fire. I was so scared. Yeah, but you know what I'll say about the fire alarms though. The scariest thing about a fire alarm is when you get woken up by it. Like when you don't know what's going on. Like you're literally like half asleep and then you just get woken up by a fire alarm. Like you realize what's happened? What just happened? Like it's like, am I dreaming? It's like what happened? It's like that few seconds you're trying to piece together what's going on when you get woken up by it. It's so loud and it's such an annoying sound. But yeah, that's and you remember I had gotten the worst fire alarm experience that I've ever had is I visited Las Vegas last November, and I stayed at the Oyo, which is, I shouldn't have stayed at that hotel. But basically what happened is I got woken up at 1 o'clock in the morning by a fire alarm. 1 o'clock in the morning. And I should have taken my phone out and recorded it when it happened, but I was just thinking about getting out at the time, and I just, got up and I just left immediately, so I wasn't really thinking about that. There was no fire in the end, too, but basically, my entire floor, everybody got off the floor, we went downstairs, we went down, the staircase instead of the elevator, and what happened was, this was, November in, Las Vegas. It was, around, 40 degrees outside, so a lot of us were in our pajamas, and we were basically, everybody was in their pajamas in the parking lot, just confused on what happened, and apparently the fire alarm only happened on our floor, so it didn't happen on other floors, only on our floor. And we sat in the parking lot for 10-15 minutes. Nobody from the hotel and casino came outside to check up on us to see what was going on, and that really pissed me off. Being outside, nobody telling us what's going on. We didn't know what happened. We walked back towards the front door. We walked in the casino where the lobby is, and no, in the casino, everybody was playing in the casino. So the fire alarm never went off in the casino, only on our hotel floor. And I was gonna consider complaining to the front desk, but there was such a huge line, and I was half asleep. I was like, screw this, I'm going back to sleep. And so we went, me and my buddy that were there, we went, back to our hotel room, went back to sleep, and then the next day we complained about it. They did upgrade us to a better room and gave us a discount, but it was so frustrating having that, that happen. And the crazy thing is, I found a review online, a review of somebody else complaining about that fire alarm going off on that exact same week I was there, so it can't be a coincidence. It was that person was on my floor. And apparently, I don't know how true this is, but apparently the fire alarm, what it was caused by, it was an employee from the hotel was smoking an electronic cigarette in the elevator. And the elevator has a fire, smoke alarm in the ceiling. And that triggered it on the floor, that when she was going up the floors, triggered it on that specific floor. And then that basically triggered the whole thing. It was it's my God. I was so pissed about that. It almost ruined my vacation, too. I have a lot of those in nightclub, all max, bunker, all MC. I only have 5 cars. Yeah, and Red Bull, I'm not saying that you're doing it with the people who are constantly just buying cars and they never buy businesses. I wasn't saying that you're doing that. I was just saying that it's one of the biggest mistakes people make is they constantly keep buying cars and cars, but they never invest in businesses. Yeah, but nightclub you always want to have producing, and nightclub you want to have producing pharmaceutical research, South American imports, cargo and shipments, cash creation, and what was the other one? I'm trying to think of it. Sporting goods, that was the other one. You want to have those 5 producing. Thank you, Red Bull. Thank you, Dream. Thank you, Dream Messi, for the super chat. Fun fact, the main character in Mind's Eye is voiced by Lincoln Clay's actor from Mafia 3. Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Until Dusk, for the super chat. I've got a question. What did empires like Britain or France usually do to their colonial territories most of the time? Well, every single empire was different. Some were worse than others.
Looks like
But generally, what colonial empires do is they occupy the land. They steal the resources from the country. They don't give the people fair representation in the nation. They oftentimes commit crimes against the people in the area that they occupy. The people who live in colonies are generally treated like second-class citizens. Like, they are not treated fairly like the people in the mother country are, the country that's colonizing them. But, yeah, I mean, my country, America, was also a colony. Like, Americans were treated, pretty badly by the British Empire. But, some countries have gotten, were treated also worse than the U.S. Like, for example, India. India was one country where India had, like, over $1 trillion of wealth stolen from their country. And on top of that, there was a really bad famine that happened in India, the Bengali famine that killed millions of people. So it was, empires would basically just steal from their, the colonies they occupy to exploit them. What else was I gonna say about it? I was also gonna say this, to add on to that point, that one thing that I really hate, like, one thing that I really cannot stand is I cannot stand when communists will say, for example, that that colonialism is a free market system. Colonialism is not a free market system. That is just propaganda that communists push. Colonialism is not a free market system. Colonialism is very much a controlled economy. For example, like America, when America was occupied by Britain, when it was the 13 colonies, that was not a free market system. That was a mercantilist system. The difference between that, how that basically worked, is that if you lived in America before the Revolution, you would be forced to only buy British goods. You were only allowed to buy British goods. So, like, if you wanted to buy, like, a couch for your house, you had to buy a British-made couch. You could not buy a French-made couch. You could not buy a Spanish-made couch. You can't do that. You cannot buy a Portuguese-made couch. You have to buy specifically from Britain. You were not allowed. It was illegal to buy from any other country. So basically, Britain forced America to only, 13 colonies to only purchase from them. People were not given a choice on, who they could do business with. They were only allowed to do business with the mother country, Britain. And this is why John Hancock, he got really popular. John Hancock was a smuggler who later became a founding father. He brought in a lot of goods from other countries, and he sold it at a discount in the 13 colonies. So he became really popular and rich, doing that. But that was basically it, is that we were not allowed to buy any goods from any other country. And it was not just America that was like this. It was like pretty much every single colony in the world was like this, where colonies were only allowed to buy from the mother country. They were not allowed to buy from any other, they were not allowed to buy outside of their, anyone else, only from the mother country. So, and the mother country would oftentimes exploit the colony and steal from them, and they would scam them. So, for example, like, if you wanted to buy, if you were an American and you were living, before the Revolution, if you were forced to buy, like, a British couch, you would pay, like, 3 times the amount for it. 3 times than, like, what it actually cost. So you'd get ripped off. But if Americans had, access to other markets, they could buy cheaper goods from other countries. But Britain restricted, where Americans can and can't buy. So the point that I'm getting at is that when communists say that, for example, that colonialism is a free market system, it's a bunch of nonsense and a bunch of propaganda, just to make their ideology look better. Colonialism is not a free market system. It's very much a controlled system. A free market system is a system where 2 countries can trade. If you don't like the goods from one country, you can buy the goods from another country. And you come to a deal, you agree to a trade deal, you make, both countries make money, one country sells goods to another country. That's basically what a free market system is. So colonialism is not a free market system, but I constantly hear, like, communists say, like, oh, colonialism is free market. It is not a free market system. It's just a bunch of nonsense. Why did France sell Louisiana to the U.S.? Oh, that was Napoleon who sold that, and he didn't sell Louisiana directly. He sold the Louisiana Purchase. The Louisiana Purchase was a bunch of states. It was like Louisiana. It was I think Nebraska, South Dakota. What else was there? Yeah, it was a huge chunk of land there. But it was a bunch of states that were in the Louisiana Purchase. But the reason that Napoleon sold it is because Napoleon barely had any troops there. There was barely any troops, and for the most part, the French did not. the French did not settle in those upper Midwestern territories for the most part. They settled mostly in where Louisiana is today, where New Orleans. That's where most of the French settled in. So if you live in New Orleans today, chances are that your ancestors could actually be French. But that was that's where most of the most of the French settled in New Orleans and Louisiana, and the other territories, Napoleon really saw no use for it, and he thought that eventually America might try to take it. So he thought, you know what, I'll sell it and I'll get money for it and use it to fund my political and military campaigns, and that's basically the backstory behind that. Okay, converted. Let me see here. Okay, converted, just start up your sale and I'll help you here. Maybe I'll play GTA Online on Xbox, but I think I'll play, GTA 4 on Xbox, like, and on PS3 to mix it up. But starting GTA 5 on Xbox, I have to, create a whole new character and, go through all that again, and I've worked really hard on this character, so... Sandy Shores Airfield, okay. Yeah, I can play with one hand. I do that a lot of times. I just play with one hand like this. I can drive in the game with one hand too. For the U.S. politicians at the time, like Polk, why was making a coast-to-coast country a priority? Because the U.S. would get trade from both the Pacific and the Atlantic. It would maximize the U.S.'s revenue. Yeah, I could do a Watch Dogs multiplayer stream in the future. Oh, down there, okay. Yeah, a lot of people said Fallout New Vegas was pretty accurate with a lot of its locations. Come on. What? What? Why couldn't I pick that up? Possibly Gunner. Yeah, this is a resupply. Did I pay attention to Last of Us Part 2 controversy? Which controversy exactly? There was a bunch. Oh, great. When's the next Days Gone video? Tomorrow, I promise. Wait, that's a... Okay, hospital. Helicopter. I recently finished the GTA 5 story playthrough. Now I'm watching GTA 4. I love the playthroughs. Couldn't wait for GTA 6. Shame they delayed it. Yeah, but they could have at least given us some kind of trailer. That's what they could have done. Yeah, I know that Gran Colombia fell apart, Gunner. That was true. And not only did Gran Colombia fell apart, but also Panama left Colombia afterwards. So Venezuela broke away from Colombia, and then Panama also broke away from Colombia later on too. What's up, Phoenix? What do I think is the worst empire in history? Oh man, that'd be hard to decide. When it comes to Western Europe, it might be the Belgians that were the worst in Western Europe. In Eastern Europe, it was definitely the Russians during the Russian Empire, and then the Soviet Union, both terrible empires. In Asia, in more recent times, it would have to be probably the Japanese Empire in more modern times. Could I do a stream in Spanish if I get good with it? Maybe, but that will be, maybe like years from now. I'm still, practicing. Was the Soviet Union an empire? Yes. Well, they burned a lot of stuff, Gunner. Do I speak Polish? Yes.
You fine?
Well, yeah, not Nazi Germany would be an empire. Also, I would say that too. Yeah, I would say Nazi Germany, I would say, is worse than the Belgians. Yeah, but the Belgians were also really cruel, very, very cruel. Wait, what, Eldragon? I'm a bit confused. I spoke Polish, my parents when I was a little kid, and I picked up on it, and I know it. People act like they started waiting for GTA 6 in 2013. Yeah, I would say that a little bit too. Thank you, Arch Biscuits. Thank you for the super chat. You're talking about Days Gone Assassin Wolf? Wait, who tried to correct who, Eldragon? Anybody who tries to correct people who uses the phrase Rockstar's never released a mid-game by mentioning GTA 4 has never truly played a mid-game. Why do you think Days Gone is better than The Last of Us? Longer game, open world. The hordes, I think, are more interesting than the infected in The Last of Us. Isn't Polish and Russian similar? Though, Polish and Russian is... The thing about Polish and Russian, they use a different alphabet, but Polish and Russian. If you are a Russian speaker and you hear Polish, you will be able to understand some words, but you won't be able to understand the language. And it's the same thing if you're a Polish speaker and you listen to Russian. You'll be able to understand some words, but you won't understand the language. Sometime halfway through the month we'll announce it, Hustler. Don't worry, I promise I'll do it. If GTA 5 was boring to you, which game would you suggest playing instead? I don't think GTA 5 was boring. I think that it was, I like GTA 4 better, but I don't, think it was boring. It was also a good game. But I would suggest, if anybody is bored of GTA, right now, try GTA Vice City Stories. If you've never played GTA Vice City Stories, I think you would really like it. It's a very underrated game. It takes place in Vice City, too. So I guess it'd be a nice, game to play, coming up for GTA 6. But it's, yeah, and Vice City Stories is a really, really great game. In Australia and New Zealand, Anzac Day was 10 days ago, but what are your thoughts on the Gallipoli campaign 1915 and when Australia and New Zealand Army Corps landed on the 25th of April 1915? Thank you, Until Dusk. Well, that was Churchill who did that, who planned that out. Churchill was the first admiralty of Britain at that time, so he was, he helped to plan out the Gallipoli, campaign. And the whole idea of the Gallipoli campaign, it was an early attempt in the war to knock the Ottomans out of the war. That was basically the whole purpose of the Gallipoli campaign, that the Australian and New Zealand troops were going to land in Gallipoli, and then they were going to march towards Istanbul and take that, and they were going to knock the Ottomans out of the war. That was basically the whole, idea behind it. Let me help Pearson with his heist here. I'll help Pearson, and then I can help whoever else needs help with a heist after this too. But Gallipoli was a disaster. The terrain was a lot more rocky and uneven than they thought it would be. It gave the Ottoman defenders really good cover, and the invasion failed. And then the Australian and New Zealand troops suffered very high casualties, very, very high. The thing about that about the Gallipoli campaign is from what I've seen, I've talked to a few Australians about the Gallipoli campaign, and I asked them if they blame Britain for that failed invasion, and some people say that they blame Britain for it, some people they don't blame Britain for it. So from what I've seen personally, it's like a mixed reception, but it's the Gallipoli campaign was extremely brutal, and it was one of the most brutal theaters of World War I. It is also in Battlefield 1, I know that. What made the Gallipoli campaign fail? They couldn't push past the Ottoman defenses. The Ottomans were just too well dug in. Pearson, what's happening? Oh, okay. What was the turning point of World War II? World War II had a few turning points. Stalingrad was the first giant battle where the Nazis lost. So Stalingrad was the one where it was the first large-scale battle that the Nazis had lost. Stalingrad was a turning, because Stalingrad, the entire Sixth Army was destroyed. So the entire army was destroyed. Another turning point of the war, I would say, would have to be the Battle of Midway. The Battle of Midway was a turning point in the Pacific. During the Battle of Midway, it was pretty much over for Japan. Like, their fleet got destroyed. It was over. It was only a matter of time until they were going to lose. The thing is that a lot of people say that Stalingrad is what was Nazi Germany's ultimate downfall, but I wouldn't say that Stalingrad was their ultimate downfall. I would say that their ultimate downfall was probably it was probably Kursk. That's what I would say about that. Kursk happened a couple months after Stalingrad. They lost the Battle of Stalingrad in February 1943. Kursk happened, that was like June, July 1943. And the reason I say Kursk is the Nazi Germany's downfall at that point is because Kursk is the largest tank battle in history. So out of all the tank battles that happened in human history, Kursk was the largest tank battle in history. And the thing is, though, when the German Sixth Army was destroyed at Stalingrad, they had no chance of conquering the rest of the Soviet Union. They couldn't. They could still try to hold on to the territory that they've acquired, but they had no chance of conquering the rest of the Soviet Union. If the Germans had achieved a decisive victory at Kursk, then Stalin might have negotiated with them, and Stalin might have basically given up some territory, and that might have been like a way for the Germans to knock the Soviets out of the war if they had crippled the Soviets badly enough at Kursk. But they failed at Kursk, and that was pretty much it. It was it was over. And after Kursk, it was only a matter of time. It was only a matter of time until Germany lost.
Next security check's coming up. You can do this. You keep your cool. Don't be nervous.
Thoughts on the Russian provisional government? You're talking about the government after the Tsar, right before the Bolsheviks took power. Yeah, this is on PS5. I was scared when the fire alarm went off this morning, yeah. But here's what I'll say about this. What was it? Russian provisional government. The Russian provisional government was incompetent. And do you know what their biggest mistake was? Their biggest mistake? They refused to pull out of World War I. Because the majority of the Russian public was so against fighting anymore in World War I. So many people had died. Russia was starving. It was, what's happening here? Oh, don't tell me it's glitched. Is it glitched again? Oh, God, we might have to do this again. But, yeah, so Russia was starving. Russia was starving, and the Russian provisional government did not want to pull out of World War I, and that was their biggest mistake. That made the public really angry and got the Bolsheviks a lot of support. Can you do a lore video on Francis McCreary and Aiden Pierce? Aiden's the greatest vigilante, and I always chose to save Francis and take out Derek. Yeah, I might make a video explaining who's worse, Francis or Derek. Thank you, Praise. What just happened? Oh, did it? Okay, I guess I'll just wait for Pearson's invite here. And again, got this annoying glitch. What do you think of those photos of those South Vietnamese civilians desperately trying to get onto the U.S. helicopters that were flying out of Saigon on the 30th of April, 1975? It's heartbreaking. It is. And this is the thing, is that it's like I said, is that communists have been the most effective at producing propaganda. Like, there is nobody that's better at making propaganda than communists. Like, communists have always made the most effective brainwashing propaganda in history. And the thing is, though, is that when Saigon fell, people were terrorized when Saigon fell. They weren't celebrating. The communists make it seem like people were just all welcoming the North Vietnamese into the streets of Saigon when they took over. There was thousands of people that were fleeing to the U.S. Embassy. They were running towards American ships, running towards American helicopters. Not everybody could get on that. A lot of people did not want to live under a communist system. They had their businesses, their livelihoods, their farms, their land. They didn't want to lose all of that. And so they were terrified, and a lot of people in Saigon were terrified of the Hue City massacre happening again. A lot of people were survivors of the Hue City massacre in Saigon, refugees from that, and they were scared that was going to happen again. So they were. That's when the North Vietnamese, executed, somewhere between like 4,000 to 6,000 people when they entered Hue City. So people were just terrified that something like that was going to happen. You had 500,000 people that were sent to re-education camps in Vietnam. The Vietnamese government did this to their own people. They put them in re-education camps after the Vietnam War. But you never hear about this history. You never hear about this bad stuff that the Vietnamese communists did. The only thing you ever hear about in history is you only hear about the bad things the U.S. did. That's it. You only hear, America was wrong for being in the Vietnam War. America was imperialist. America was evil. That's the only thing you hear about. Is you never hear about the, horrible things that the North Vietnamese did to their own people. But I would highly. I'm gonna wait for your invite, Kirsten. But Gunnar, did you ever watch that Hey Arnold video? I told you to watch. But make sure that you look up Hey Arnold. It's a 1990s cartoon, and look up the Hey Arnold Christmas episode, because there is a Christmas episode about this South Vietnamese character, and how he evacuated his daughter, and he gave his daughter to an American soldier, and because there was only room for one person left in the helicopter when Saigon was falling. He ran to the embassy, and so he chose to give his daughter a better life and chose to stay in Vietnam. And eventually he escaped, but then he was searching for his daughter, and he found her on Christmas. And that episode was like a perfect episode, because it showed you what South Vietnamese people went through during the Vietnam War. Mr. Win, I think his name was, yes. Did you know that the ARVN airborne troops were the ones that put up the most fight during the defense of Saigon at that time? I'm not surprised. The reason I'm not surprised is because, wait, Kirsten, are we doing this as me and you? If it's gold, we can just do it me and you. But basically, the reason I'm not surprised, Gunnar, is because paratroopers have to go through some really fierce training. And not only that, but paratroopers are some of the most patriotic people, to their countries, all over the world. So paratroopers are usually extremely very patriotic people. So it doesn't surprise me that the South Vietnamese paratroopers were the most resistant to the North Vietnamese when they were pushing into Saigon. It's artwork? Oh, it is. Kirsten, okay, you want to do this with 3 people? We can. Your choice then. Is Tucker from Days Gone a narcissist, a sociopath, or a psychopath? I would say she's a narcissist, because she thinks that she's always right. There is no reasoning with her whatsoever. Anyone who respects Pat, put hearts. Thank you. Thank you, Matt. And, oh, they were paratroopers, Gunner? I didn't know that.
It's like your kids putting on their uniforms for their first day at school. Only I don't have kids. Just some pretty basic AI experiments that swear at me in Russia and then want to destroy the world. We all love in our own ways. Where were we? Oh, yeah. Let's rob this thing.
I like how respectful and direct you are, Patrick. Thank you. Do you think the people who said Aiden from Watch Dogs is a bad guy lack media literacy? Well, the thing is, though, is that what I will tell you. Here's what I'll tell you about this. The people who I just gotta mute Lester. Hold on, I cannot stand him talking right now. Here's what I'll say about this. The people who said that Aiden Pierce was a bad character, they clearly did not understand his character design. They didn't understand it at all. And the thing about this is that the problem with so many people is that so many people want a character that's going to make them laugh. That's what a lot of people want, is they want a character that's going to make them laugh, a character that's going to make jokes. Aiden Pierce is not that type of character. And Aiden Pierce lost his niece. He blames himself for his niece dying. He is a very broken man. He is not he's a realist. He's not a He's kind of like a cold guy, but he does care in a way. He's a very, straight to the point kind of guy. So people don't seem to understand his character at all. But he was a very, I thought he was a pretty well written character. And when you really think about it, Aiden Pierce has the exact same personality as Batman. When you really think about it, they have the exact same personality. Very, very strict, very serious, very straight to the point. They are not joking around, not being funny constantly. The only difference between Aiden Pierce and Batman is that Batman does not kill criminals. Aiden Pierce kills criminals. That's the only difference between the two of them. But that's it. So, Batman apparently is cool, but Aiden Pierce isn't. So that's according to the reviewers.
Conspicuous.
Yeah, I could do a lore video on Watch Dogs. The cave scene in Rambo 3. It's been some time I've seen that one. Is that the one where he throws the guy down into the cave, the big guy? Is that the one?
Security checks coming up.
Howdy. You looking for the vault? Right up ahead.
Y'all here for the vault, yeah? Alright, you're gonna need your key cards to get into the man trap there. 2-card system. Swipe at the same time.
Yes! Come on! How much better does it feel when the marks are this
I don't think so, El Dragon. I'm not gonna jump. Maybe that'll stop the glitch from happening. Pearson, if the glitch happens again, then I guess I'll just help somebody from another heist. It might be happening again. I hope it doesn't. Please don't happen again.
Okay, so far so bueno. Push on to the...
Oh,
Okay, good. It's not happening.
Why didn't they say something? Man, they never tell me nothing, you know? I'll get it open for you.
What I tell you, we're making a killing. Thank you, Isaiah, for the super chat.
Oh, that's a heavy door. Ain't much getting through here. There.
You're one of the few streamers that I respect because of your no-nonsense attitude and directness. Thank you, dude.
Let's give it a new home. Good news. Seeing as we stayed under the radar, we have a little more time here. Now, your hacker can block the security sensors while you're in the vault, but only for a while. If the system goes quiet for too long, it triggers the alarm as a failsafe.
Well, I'm considering changing it on PlayStation JBK, but I've had, this name Polish Mercenary for so long, since 2009, it's a little hard for me to part with it, too.
Try getting into some of the lockboxes.
Wait. This one was, oh, it's this one. Are you able to breathe through that mask? Yeah, I'm fine. Who's the most evil cartel member in Santa Blanca organization? El Sueño. He's the one who started it all. What led you to a passion to do YouTube? I started YouTube as just like a fun activity. Just something that I was doing on the side. It was not something that I had plans for. It was like my early videos were kind of crappy. They were kind of terrible. They weren't good at all. And then, like, when GT Online started, posting more updates, I started covering it and making videos on it, and I got pretty popular on that. Like, gun running is the update that I remembered that I became pretty successful on. Ryder, where the hell you at, man? That's when CJ leaves the Colonel's house. I know that. And he gets caught. There we go. Oh, thank you, Davian, for the super chat. Thank you, dude. Can you check my comment? Pat, I wanted to tell you this. I set my PS5 up with my YouTube channel on my other account. I posted a link on Twitter so you can catch my streams. Okay. Could you also send it to me on PlayStation, through PlayStation messages, Phoenix? Oh, wait, hang on, we got power drills here, so I might as well drill a, something here. At 15 seconds, everyone leave at 15 seconds, by the way. Okay, one more. Okay, everyone leave.
Perfect. Now get out before they smell a rat. Gas incoming. 10 shit! Get the hell out of there before you get a lung fall!
Oh no.
People, that is the mother.
Kirsten, do you have the...
We cleaned 'em out.
Kirsten, do you have the,
Let's get out of the frying pan and back into the fire. Break out the key cards.
Duggan shipments done? Do you have it done, Kirsten? I guess we're about to find out if you, but if Duggan shipments is not done, it's not Kirsten's fault, because typically stealth on this, you're not really needed to do it, but... Oh god, I'm scared. Are they armored? Oh, they are. God. Tom, you got, okay. Tom, stay back, because you're a lower level. Let me and Kirsten deal with this. Great. Oh, great. This is not good right now. Ridiculous, I can't even headshot these guys. Kirsten, watch out. Okay. What? Wait. Tom left? What? He lost connection? Oh. You think Rockstar will re-release some old games to hold us off for a year? No, I don't think so, Tim. Thank you for the, thank you for the super chat. I don't think so. I think that they will... I think if they were planning on remastering GTA 4, they would have released it by now. Mistakes happen. Yeah, they do. I guess he says he got disconnected. What are the options to play Vice City Stories? Well, you could play it in an emulator if you get a PS2 disc. What do you think about the Vietnamese Communist Party loyalists in Vietnam calling the people who fled Saigon in 1975 traitors to Vietnam because they denounced communism? I will say this. Anybody who is a traitor, is a communist. Like, literally, anybody who truly loves their country, cannot be a communist, because all communists do is they destroy countries. If I was South Vietnamese, I would have left too. I would have gone to America if I could. If I had that opportunity, I would have, to leave with the U.S. I'm not going to live under a communist system. I don't think there's going to be any more remasters, Long John, though. The Austrian-Hungarian army was kind of incompetent in World War I. What's wrong, Bobby? Thank you, Maverick, for subscribing to the channel, and thank you everybody who's hanging out with me on the stream today. I do really appreciate it. You know, we're still at 500 viewers. If anybody new to the stream, subscribe to me if you like my content. About socialism. I'll mute Lester here. Socialism is a little bit less worse than communism because you can still make some money, even though it's, you know, tightly controlled. But socialism is a disastrous system as well. It doesn't work. And the thing about socialism is what people don't seem to understand is that I constantly hear people say that, like, for example, that, like, Norway, you know, Sweden, Denmark, that they are socialist countries. Those are not socialist countries, and those countries do not identify as socialist. If you talk to the Swedes and, you know, say to them, are you a socialist? They're going to tell you, we are not socialist. So Sweden, you know, Norway, you know, Denmark, for example. I think Finland might be there too. Finland might have the same system too. But those countries are not socialist countries. Those countries are still free market, you know, capitalist societies. If you want to know an example of a socialist country, Venezuela. Venezuela is a socialist country, and the reason that Venezuela is a socialist country is because the difference between Venezuela and, like, Sweden is that Sweden did not nationalize everything. Like, Sweden has, you know, nationalized, you know, for example, like, you know, some education, some, you know, healthcare, and they've nationalized, like, public transport. But there are still a lot of private enterprise in Sweden. Like, you know, there's private grocery stores, private farms, private universities, even private hospitals too, if you don't want to, you know, use the nationalized one. So there's still privatization. And here's the thing is, if I was an American businessman, right, and I came over to, like, Norway, for example, and I said, you know, hey, you know, I want to start up a business here in Norway. You know, I want to, like, invest in your country. The Norwegians would basically say to me, okay, yeah, sure, there's a process, you know, you got to go through, you got to get the proper paperwork, you know, start the business, and you got to get the proper paperwork to, you know, to be here, you know, legally. But other than that, they would say, okay, you know, you're an American businessman, you want to invest in our country, start a business, okay, go ahead. If I was an American businessman and I tried to do that exact same thing in Venezuela, and I said, hey, you know, I want to start up a business here in Venezuela, I want to purchase some land, the Venezuelan government would basically tell me, get the hell out of here. And so that's the thing with Venezuela, is that Venezuela has basically nationalized everything. And in Venezuela, people use, like, ration cards basically to, you know, get food in the supermarkets. And the thing about it, my mom was actually crying about that, and she was getting really emotional when she saw what was going on in Venezuela, because it reminded her of Poland when she was growing up, when they would use the ration cards in the supermarkets. So it was, it's a disaster. But whenever I hear people say that, like, for example, that you know, Norway and Sweden are, like, socialist countries. No, they are not socialist countries. You can make the argument they're social democracies, but they're definitely not socialist countries. Venezuela is a socialist country. And also, here's the thing is, there really isn't any socialist country that is a democracy. You know, most socialist countries are some kind of dictatorship or some kind of authoritarianism. So very rarely will you actually have a socialist country that's a democracy, where pretty much 100% of all communist countries are dictatorships. I hope I answered your question.
Keep going!
I can't believe it's almost 12 years since GTA 5 release in I'm so bored with this game because the updates have gotten so mediocre in recent years. Yeah, thank you, Sean. I agree with you. Yeah, the updates are not as fun anymore, and I would honestly like to see a Bikers Part 2. I don't know if people would like to see that, but I'd like to see that. Like, I'd like to see more stuff with the MC businesses. I'd like to see, you know, more biker stuff. I was one of my favorite updates in GTA Online, but...
Okay, so far, so bueno.
So you're joining my heist after this one? Yes, I can help you, Minifig. Just get your heist ready, and I'll help you after this.
Man, they never tell me nothing, you know?
The most evil character in the Call of Duty universe? Makarov. Professional, what's a conspiracy theory you believe? The only
Hey, that art looks expensive to me. Let's give it a new home.
one of the conspiracies that I'm
Seeing as we stayed under the radar, we have a little more time here. Now,
let me wait till Lester stops talking here.
while you're in the vault, but only for a while. If the system goes quiet for too long, it triggers the alarm as a failsafe. And did I mention that if the alarm goes off in here, they'll flood the place with nerve agent? No? Okay, well, I'm mentioning it now. If you're making good time in
Okay, one conspiracy that I think I kind of believe is the JFK assassination is, I think that there's some really weird things about that. I think that I think there's some really strange things that happened with the JFK assassination. Who is Ryu? What was Reznov's plan exactly? I will have a video on that, Reznov's entire plan. It's a little hard to explain, but Reznov's plan was not just to kill Dragovich, Kravchenko, and Steiner. There was actually more to it. But I will, I'll make a lore video, and the lore video will be this month, explaining Reznov's plan. Yeah. Like, for example, Reznov knew that Mason was gonna kill Kennedy. Reznov knew that, by the way. But Reznov didn't stop Mason. There's a reason that Reznov didn't stop Mason, but I'll explain that, when I make my video on him. Yeah, the computer has a lot of lore in Black Ops 1. Tom, please try not to trigger the alarm on this one here. Leave at 15 seconds. Is the original Black Ops set in the 1960s? Yes. Yes, I will, vertical with my Reznov video. Okay, I'm getting out of here.
20 seconds left. Don't dawdle. Perfect. Now get out before they smell a rat. Gas incoming. 10 seconds. In and out undetected. Who'd have thought it?
Okay, swipe, Pearson. Oh yeah, I would cosplay for the Assassin's Creed games. The thing is, if I was to do Assassin's Creed 3, I could talk so much history on the American Revolution if I was to do Assassin's Creed 3. No, don't shoot, Tom, no! Oh, no. Tom, you're supposed to wait till that door opens up. Sometimes that door gets glitched. You're supposed to wait a few seconds. Don't shoot. Ah. Okay, okay, R2 everyone here. The Sabians, I don't know that history. I'd have to read on that one. Gazala, Also, here's,
Stay calm. Back the way you came, through the checkpoint. Nothing to see here.
Y'all done in here? Hey, listen.
You wanna know a really disturbing fact about the Revolutionary War that, that people don't know? A lot of people don't know this. The really disturbing fact in the Revolutionary War is that double the amount of Americans died in British captivity than they did in battle. A lot of people don't know that.
Still in the building, just keep moving and keep quiet. All right, look busy and shout LSFD if anyone gets in your way. Time to change your outfits. We need a fresh start if you're gonna make it out of here under the radar.
Okay. I wish you could just mute Lester in this completely.
To pick up the pace. Security is sweeping the whole building. Stay one step ahead, or this whole thing goes south.
Okay. You don't get back. Tom, watch out. But this is the biggest misconception that one of the biggest misconceptions that people have about the Revolutionary War is people think that if you got taken prisoner by the British that you would be treated humanely, that they would treat you like a gentleman. That is not true. American prisoners were starved, they were beaten, they were worked to death. The British did nothing when disease was spreading in American POW camps. So there's in my hometown of New York, there's actually a memorial statue to the victims of the Jersey. The Jersey was a British prison ship that was supposed to have a few hundred prisoners, but they had over 1,000 American prisoners, and the American prisoners were just tightly put together. Their necks were like strapped onto this wooden like frame thing. They couldn't move. The prisoners couldn't move. They were disease spread rapidly. When they were given food, they were given rotting meat that got them sick. It had like bugs all over it. It was like really bad conditions. And here's the thing: is when an American prisoner died from sickness, what would happen is the British soldiers would actually take that American they would force the American prisoners to actually pick up that dead sick prisoner's body and throw him overboard. So that was it. Is that you if you don't believe me, you can look this up. Look up that double the amount of American prisoners actually did die in British prisons than they did in battle. So the only way that you had a chance of surviving if you were like an American prisoner during the Revolutionary War is if you were an officer. Officers were treated differently than NCOs NCOs were and lower ranks. But officers were treated much better, much more respect. But if you were like a private corporal sergeant, your chances of surviving British captivity were very low. Yeah, the bike's the getaway, okay.
Just got word from the decoy. We don't have long before they have to tap out. Make the most of it. All right, the decoy is out. You're on your own now.
But also, about that British prison where, like, thousands of Americans died, there's another thing that I'll say about that prison. There actually was a prison break, where a bunch of Americans prisoners actually escaped from that British prison. But the... Let me get back on my bike here. Oh, man. I hate when you just keep rolling like this. It's so annoying. Okay.
If the buyer hears so much as a siren, this whole thing goes up in smoke. Lose the cops.
So there was a prison break on the Jersey ship, but basically here's what happened. There was an American woman. She pretended to be a loyalist, and what she did was she went onto the ship, and what she brought onto the ship is she brought a Bible, and she told the British soldiers that she was gonna read the Bible to the prisoners. and they generally didn't search the Bible. But the Bible was actually hollowed out, and what she had in the Bible is she had some kind of poison in the Bible. And what she did was she drugged the British guards. I don't know if it killed them or not. It definitely knocked them out. But she drugged the British guards. The British guards basically passed out. They fell unconscious from the poison. And what happened was she took the keys and she basically just unlocked a bunch of them, and a bunch of them just escaped. They got on rowboats and they got away. And the British government was like so angry about that, and they were basically saying, "Oh, it's so dishonorable what she did, that she used like a hollowed out Bible, that it was like really bad." But this prison was torturing American prisoners. It was torturing and killing American prisoners. So it's kind of ironic how the British government was saying that it was dishonorable that she hid poison in the Bible when that prison that she went to was like torturing and murdering prisoners. So that's what I'll say is the hypocrisy right there. Okay, I'll help you next, minifig. Is there a movie series based on that prison break? If not, I would sign up for that, directed by you, Pro. No, there isn't, but you can watch a documentary on it. Look up the Jersey prison. The Jersey prison specifically, it's called the Jersey, and it was like a really bad prison where, like, you know, so many Americans died in that prison. Like, they were just tortured to death and just murdered in that prison by the British during the Revolutionary War. A lot of people don't know about that. Like, they don't know about, like, you know, prisons like that. Is that they think that if you got taken as like a prisoner during the Revolutionary War, the British would like treat you humanely, but that was not true at all. I don't know, Fernando. What happened to the woman after this? She survived the war. She did. I forget her name, but you can look up like the woman who like saved the prisoners in the Jersey, and I'm sure there's like an article about her, but I remember I watched a documentary about her a long time ago. I kind of did that already, Royale, with the real life locations I visited in GTA, but I want to visit more locations, yeah. What about the Confederate treatment towards Union prisoners of war during the Civil War? The Confederates were pretty brutal towards Union POWs. There was a notorious Confederate prison camp. I forget the name of it, where a lot of Union POWs died. And it was actually run by this guy from Switzerland. He was from Switzerland, but he was like a Confederate general. I forget the guy's name, but if it came to the black soldiers, if the Confederates caught black soldiers, they would oftentimes enslave them. But if the Confederates caught a white officer that was leading if the Confederates caught a white officer that was leading black soldiers, he'd be executed. So they would hang him. Okay, invite me when you get the chance here, a minifig. I'll help you with your heist. There we go. Oh yeah, I've done a playthrough of Vice City Stories. I wonder why that isn't taught more. I've definitely learned more from history from this stream than I have in my entire education. I think the reason the British prisons probably are not talked about a lot is because there's this impression that the British would, you know, treat you like gentlemen back then, but that was not the case. That's probably one of the reasons that it's not talked about. But I will also say this: King George, he actually later went insane in life. He did, and one of the reasons, one of the beliefs that people have that why he went insane was the American Revolution, that he lost like America, which was such a profitable land. But I will say about this is I have no sympathy whatsoever for King George going insane. I think he actually deserved it. The amount of people that died in his prisons, like the torture that those patriots basically went through in his prisons, I have no sympathy for him going insane later on. And you have to also remember that a lot of this could have basically been avoided if he had just negotiated with the colonists.
Okay, they're expecting these chips today, so get over there in the group 6 van. Unless you're total idiots, you'll walk in without any problems.
Were the Confederates racist? Of course.
Makes me feel all fuzzy. It's like your kids putting on their uniforms for their first day at school. Only I don't have
Sorry if you read this comment, but lights went out and I couldn't hear your response. What was your question, Dominus?
destroy the world.
Mokotów prison. That is an infamous prison in Poland. It was a communist prison. That's what Mokotów prison was.
Okay, you're there. Drive in past the garage entrance and follow the road to the racetrack. The tunnel entrance is under the bridge. Don't forget, you are private security, like a cop who couldn't pass the fitness test or the psych eval. Looks like you're really getting off on the power and...
Really hoping that that Mind's Eye, Leslie Benzie's game, turns out well. Looks like a lot of Mafia 3 the actor got typecasted as a soldier from a muscle car again. Thank you, Arise Harbinger. And the thing about Mind's Eye is, you know what a mistake that Mind's Eye is making? A mistake? They don't have an online in that game. And normally I don't support... Games don't always need to have an online to be successful, so don't get me wrong. I care about the single player a lot. But Leslie Benzies wants Mind's Eye to be a competitor with GTA. And the only way that you can be a competitor with GTA is you have to have an online mode as well. The single player should be amazing, don't get me wrong. But if it truly wants to compete with GTA, it needs to have an online mode. Because Mind's Eye is going... GTA 6 is going to make a ton of money from their online. Well, Mafia is not really a competitor to GTA because it's made by the same publisher, Take-Two Interactive.
Did you ever hear the one about the 4 Group 6 employees in an elevator? No? Next security check's coming up. You can do this. You keep her cool.
Howdy. You looking for the vault? Right up ahead.
Y'all here for the vault, yeah? Alright, you're gonna need your key cards to get into the man trap there. 2-card system. Swipe
Okay,
at the same
swipe,
time.
minifig.
Yes! Come on! How much better does it feel when the marks are this dumb?
Yeah, I've played Helldivers 2, I have it.
Let's go now. I need all of you in that man trap.
What's wrong with Sleeping Dogs on PS5? Sleeping Dogs on PS5 is a very complicated game to run. I don't know why. Sleeping Dogs has backwards compatibility problems on PS5. If you try to run it, the game will oftentimes crash, and the thing is, the main menu crashes so much on the PS5 if you try to play with backwards compatibility. I don't know why that happens. It's just Sleeping Dogs just has so many, backwards compatibility issues on the PlayStation. It's weird. And the thing about this is it's like the only game that I know of that has backwards compatibility issues on the PS5. Most games work flawlessly, but that game has issues.
Door. Ain't much getting through here. There.
Bingo! We have struck gold!
Okay, we should be able to get everything.
Seeing as we stayed under the radar, we have a little more time here. Now, your hacker can block the security sensors while you're in the vault, but only for a while. If the system goes quiet for too long, it triggers the alarm as a failsafe. And, did I mention that if the alarm goes off in here...
Well, I can add you, Gunner. You just have to tell me your name.
No? Okay, well, I'm mentioning it now. If you're making good time in there, try getting into
Here we go. Got it. Yeah, my character's still a ghoul in Fallout 76. I'm really hoping that they add playable super mutants to Fallout 76, because I'd really like to see that. I have a petition actually for that. I could actually put that in the I could put that in the comments in one moment here. Okay, I'm gonna start power drilling then. I can also add you, Vaughn, but I try to add 2 people usually on a stream. Okay, here we go. Wonder if we can get over 3 million, can we? Okay, this will be my last one that I'm drilling here.
20 seconds left. Don't dawdle. Perfect. Now get out before they smell a rat. Gas incoming. 10 seconds. Time's up. Here comes the nerve agent. Get the hell out of there before you get a long fall. We're still under the radar. Perfect.
Good, over 3 million. Nice, everyone.
People, that is the mother load. We cleaned them out. Okay, let's see if we can make the way out as smooth as the way in. Get your key cards ready.
I could do a video comparing, like, maybe Mind's Eye gameplay and GTA 6, but that video wouldn't be out until next year, because
Swipe the cards at the same
GTA 6
time,
coming out
just
next
like
year now.
before.
I'm not shocked at all to hear GTA 6 was delayed. In fact, I was expecting to hear this announcement at some point. The lack of trailers said it all. Yeah, but, I was hoping that maybe in the summertime we would get, like, a trailer and they would say, like, you know, fall or something, but I guess not. I guess now, you know, we're gonna be waiting. That means that we're gonna have another December DLC. So December DLC is gonna be our final DLC, not the summer. Thank you, Mario. I'm good with the delay. It means that the game is much more polished. Safe to say that I will be on vacation that week when it does come out. Thank you, Kaiju. And yeah, I'm excited for
Hey, listen, that fellow on the vault door, how'd he look? We snuck a double strength laxative in his coffee. He'll be
I'm excited for GTA 6. I know the game's gonna be polished and be better, but I will just say about this is I really wish that they would have given us some kind of trailer, though.
Okay, I need you to stay calm. They've seen what you did to the vault, and now the whole place is locking down fast. They know you're still in the building. Just keep moving and keep quiet. Time to change your outfits. We need
What just happened? What? Oh, great.
Is there a problem here?
If you're that close to them minifig, just melee them.
You're not authorized to be here. Leave now.
You could if somebody else needs another help with one, Dwayne. Hope your day is good. What are your thoughts on Xbox raising their price if they're not selling enough? Are you concerned PlayStation would do the same? But the thing about this is, if Sony's smart, they can use this to their advantage, and they can say that, look, you know, we're not charging extra for games. You know, games are still staying the same price that they are. You know, that's what Sony could do. Vice City Next Gen, yeah. I could do but if I do a playthrough of Vice City Next Gen, it'll be a single video. That's what it will be. And you know what I will say about this is Bethesda, in my opinion, Bethesda is the best developer this year. Bethesda is. The people who make Elder Scrolls and Fallout, and the reason that I'm saying Bethesda is the best developer of 2025, it's not for the Oblivion remaster. The Oblivion remaster is great, but the reason that I say Bethesda is the best developer this year, hear me out, is okay, I don't know what just happened there. Okay, wait, stay together. What just happened? Who died? Okay, so guys, listen. The reason that I'm giving Bethesda my personal viewpoint the best developer of 2025, the reason I say that, is because there was a fan project that's been going on for years. And the fan project that's been going on for years, this is Skyblivion. For people that don't know what Skyblivion is, it is a recreation of Oblivion. So it's modders who are like Vice City Next Gen, but for Oblivion. They are basically recreating all of Oblivion, but on the Skyrim engine. And modders have been working on this project for years. Now, when Bethesda released Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered, their remaster was actually really good. But here's the thing about this. Bethesda, if they wanted to, could have shut that down, that Skyblivion mod. But they didn't do that. Do you know what they did instead? They actually sent all of the Skyblivion mod developers free Oblivion Remastered keys. All of them. And they congratulated them on their work, and they wished them that their project also is really good. You know, that's how a developer should act. Not like, you know, Rockstar who, you know, you see the BS that they did with, you know, Vice City Next Gen and also the Liberty City mod. What just happened? My CEO quit? What just happened? I'm confused. Did he lag out? My internet as usual. Oh, well, it was his internet, guys. It's not his fault. It's his internet. But it wasn't Bethesda. Sure, but Bethesda owns the rights to Elder Scrolls. So Bethesda, if Bethesda wanted to, Bethesda could have shut down Skyblivion if they wanted to, but they didn't do it. So that's what I'll say is, Bethesda, I think, was the best developer for this year, in my opinion. What's going on? Are we doing another heist here? Okay, just waiting for a heist invite. Yeah, I have that one, Gunner. I'm also gonna get the PlayStation version when that comes out. A game that I do play a lot, Gunner, is Hell Let Loose also. I don't know if you know that one. Favorite game of 2001? GTA 3. I'm disappointed that the NVA in Men of Valor speaks with a South Vietnamese accent. I guess since the people up north are way too loyal to the Vietnam Communist Party. I think that if somebody from North Vietnam had done like the voice acting for NVA troops in Men of Valor, I would imagine they might have serious problems in Vietnam when they come back, if the Vietnamese government found out about that. People probably didn't want to risk it. Minifig, what's going on? Are we doing your heist again, or? How essential is the Saints Row 2 DLC? Are people missing much on PC? The Saints Row 2 DLC, it basically explains what happened to Dex, so I would say it's an essential DLC. Is Bully connected to the HC universe? I don't know, that's a good question. They do show the Academy in GTA 4. Thank you for the super chat, Mr. Jesus. I don't know if there'll still be a Michael DLC. I guess we'll have to see. No, she's not DHC. I'm just waiting for Minifig to invite me to a heist. Why is Saints Row 2 my favorite video game of all time? Thank you, Jorge. I love the city, the customization, the gameplay, the gangs, the story, the activities. Saints Row 2 is my ultimate favorite game, a combination of those factors. Saints Row 2 was a masterpiece. It was like the perfect game. No, she doesn't appear in any of them DHC. Yeah, I like motorcycles in GTA games. Okay, there we go. Minifig's invite. Let's help him with that heist. My favorite RPG, probably Skyrim. Oh, and speaking of which, let me actually, hold on a second here. Okay. I was telling you guys about that petition I had. People were asking me about it earlier. Hold on a second. One moment here. So people were asking me about Fallout 76 earlier. I was here. I made a petition on Fallout 76 for change.org, and the petition that I made was to add like a playable super mutant like race, because they added like ghouls. They added ghouls, but a lot of fans want to be able to play as super mutants. I think that would be pretty cool if they added like super mutants as like the next playable thing. So I put that as like I made that like a petition. We got 4 signatures left of 50. If anybody wants to sign it, I put it in the pinned in the chat there too. If anybody here plays Fallout 76 too. Which Mega Man game do you like the most? Mega Man Legends 1. That costume is sick. Masked look. Thank you, Unknown Notion. Thank you, dude. According to everything I heard, Volition didn't want to remaster the first two Saints Rows because they lost the source code. How do you lose the source code to your game? I believe you, Vital. I know that's true, but how do you lose the source code to your game? And then, they didn't like the use of the slur words? What words? Well, I don't know what words they would be offended by in Saints Row 2. I can't think of any offensive words in Saints Row 2. I can't think of anything. You guys want to know something really stupid? I'll tell you guys this. Do you guys know that the word homie was taken out of the Saints Row reboot because the developer thought that the word homie was an offensive word? You know that? That is like I'm not joking on this. That's why the word homie is not in the Saints Row reboot. Have you noticed that? The word homie is not in that game. So literally the developer took the word homie out because they thought that homie was an offensive word. Like, how is homie an offensive word? Like, I don't, like, homie is basically like what it's a slang for a good friend. That's what it means. Homie just means good friend. That's just what it's a slang for that. Like, how is that an offensive word? I don't understand how homie is an offensive word. That is like, that's ridiculous. Yeah, you can look it up. The word homie is not in the Saints Row reboot. It is not. They probably think it's a microaggression. Homie is a gangster slang word. I wouldn't use it as a gangster slang word because a lot of people say homie who are not gangsters. It's just more like urban, like street slang. That's what I would just say about it. It's not it's, yes, gangsters use it, but it is there's plenty of people who aren't gangsters who say homie. I'm worried that since GTA 6 is getting delayed, we'll just keep getting more mediocre GTA Online updates. Thank you, Sean. Uh, Thank you, Sean, for the super chat. Yeah, I think that there's only going to be two GTA Online updates left this summer and this winter, and I think they're both going to be mediocre updates. I agree with you. Yeah. You know, people are hoping that we're going to get some Michael DLC. I mean, it could happen, but I don't think it's going to. Best thing about Oblivion and Skyrim, apart from the worlds and immersion, is Jeremy Soul's score. Who? Thank you, Tim Marco. If I'm reading your name correctly, or Marcox. Is that French? Marco. I think that's how you pronounce it. But yeah, we'll take the stairs too. Top 10 video game companies to close their studio due to failed games. Number 1 will be Volition on that, definitely. The Commando Gunner. What's wrong, Tom? Xbox price increases are stupid. Oh, the composer. Oh, okay. Which one do I like more, GTA Online or Story Mode? Well, probably GTA Online. I've put a lot more effort into it than the Story Mode, but I like Story Mode too also. Well, I can look at it after the stream then, Tom. Let's see if we can get past 3 million again. In context, homie could be taken as a slur for certain people missing it. Wait, what do you mean? Okay, there we go. Let me start drilling now. I hope that PlayStation does not follow suit and increase prices too. I really hope they don't. Have I played Star Wars Republic Commando? Surprisingly, no. That's one that I missed. I gotta play it one day. Have you played Star Wars Bounty Hunter? That's one of my favorite Star Wars games, Star Wars Bounty Hunter. I really like that one. I'll play those games one day too, Gunner. Okay, I think we can definitely get this to 3 million again. There we go, nice. Drilling one more and I'm going after this here. Damn, okay. Nothing. Uh...
Now that you're carrying the loot, let's fall back to the rear door.
What are your opinions on the game's delay? I don't, if it's gonna make the game better, then so be it. But I wish they would have really released a trailer. They should have released a trailer, some screenshots, something like that.
Okay, I need you to stay calm. They've seen what you did to the vault, and now the whole place is locking down fast. They know you're still in the building. Just keep moving and keep quiet. Time to change your outfits. We need a fresh start if you're gonna make it out of here under the radar. They're closing in on us. We need to pick up the pace. Security is sweeping the whole building. Stay one step ahead or this whole thing goes south. As long as you stay calm, those outfits should get you from
I'll
here
see you,
to the
Jimmy.
exit.
Take care, man.
The cops aren't letting anybody through the perimeter, so you'll have to do that the old-fashioned way. Good job, officers. It's about time you showed up. As long as you're in the casino, that outfit's a free pass. Slip out the side door and try not to act out of character.
Great, yeah, I can't sprint because of this gold. I could try to, Mason.
They know the vault's been hit, but they don't know who you are or where you are. They have patrols sweeping the whole place, and all the civilians have been evacuated. So if they see you, they'll know it's you. So just stay out of their way, keep your cool, and get to the buyer. The driver has the getaway car in position. I've pinged you the GPS. Get to the buyer, don't bring the cops, and we're home free.
Okay, good work, everyone. We're almost to the cars. We're doing great. Going first person, okay. I think in first person, yeah, you run a little bit faster. Yeah. Halo, I don't know the story that well, but yeah, I could play them one day too. Well, 6 extra months of Moon Theories and other clickbait nonsense. Plus, I think Ryder is an even bigger weasel than Brian Jeremy. Thank you for the super chat, Bunny. Yeah, Ryder is a scumbag, and the thing is, though, is that I'm gonna have a more detailed video on Ryder in the future one day, but, the Ryder will be part of my video one day. It's gonna be like a video on top 5, you know, theories that people believe, like GTA theories that people believe that are wrong, and, like, on that video, I will have, like, you know, Ryder was not meant to be a traitor. Ryder was always meant to be a traitor. People think that he wasn't, you know, meant to be a traitor. He very much was, and the voice actor even confirmed it. He said that, that he did everything that Rockstar told him to do. He didn't get fired or anything like that, and he came back to record the San Andreas introduction where his dialogue confirmed that he was a traitor. My next Call of Duty walkthrough will be probably Black Ops 2 this year. Brandon, can you mark the getaway vehicle for me on GPS, please? Like, not the, I mean, the switch car. Thank you. Shoot their tires, they'll pop like that. Okay. Let's see, where is it? Okay.
If the buyer hears so much as a siren, this whole thing goes up in smoke. Lose the cops.
I might actually be able to lose the cops before we get to the switch vehicle. It's going good right now. There we go, lost him. Okay, good. Yeah, I think, you know, blasting a rider off the pier, I think, would have been a little better. I agree with you on that.
I knew this would be sweet. Liberating large amounts of private equity from private equity. That's something even the IRS has trouble doing. But you strolled out of there, carrying their crown jewels right under their noses. The ultimate humiliation. Oh, I've taken a whole lot of scores, but none of them has been sweeter than this.
I mean, Ryder's betrayal is kind of understandable because Ryder is like an opportunist. Like, Ryder always talks crap to CJ, and he doesn't actually help you with a lot of stuff, and he abandons you in in Home Invasion. So when CJ is stealing from the Colonel, Ryder abandons you if you get caught. My favorite victory song in Hell Let Loose, the American one. Over there, that's the song. Man, you say you're down for the homies, but all you do is complain. That Ryder, yeah, Ryder says that one too. I think Ryder's funniest line in San Andreas, he's like, he says to CJ that he can't drive, and he says like, don't roll the car over and just blow us all up in flames. And it's just a reference to the older GTA games, how when you flip the car over, it just goes into flames and explodes. This pizza parlor's no pushover. Yup, remember that one too. Yeah, people are too nostalgic for Ryder. Ryder is a scumbag. He's one of my most disliked characters. You know who my favorite character is in the Grove Street? Sweet. I know that Sweet can be an asshole at times, like when he gives Carl crap. But the thing about Sweet is, yeah, yes, he can be ignorant and he can be a bit annoying, but Sweet is loyal. Like, Sweet is a friend worth having because he'll have your back if you need him. He's not going to betray you and he'll have your back. So that's the thing about Sweet is, Ryder was a scumbag, but more people like Ryder than they like Sweet, so... Off by 49 seconds. Oh, well, we still did good. Yeah, I'm actually going to be doing Brothers in Arms this year. Gunnar, are you here also? He can't stop me, you busta Carl. Huh. Thank you, Isaiah. Ryder says that one too. Um, People think that Ryder is good, yet when they play Assassin's Creed 2 and Alberto hangs Ezio's family, they're angry instantly. Yep. People liked him a lot too, but I never trusted Alberto the first time I played Assassin's Creed 2. I never trusted him. He was too nice. I did not trust him. Hey, Pro, I feel better now, but I'm very disappointed about GTA 6 being delayed. I was really excited about this here. No wonder we didn't get trailer 2 yet. Yeah, and Pizza Zombie, the thing is Rockstar made a giant mistake, because what they could have done is they could have held off this announcement for like a week or two, and then like a week or two from now, they could have just basically told us, the game's delayed until May next year, but we will have we are having a trailer here for you guys. So here's a trailer, here's some screenshots. I mean, there's no excuse why they couldn't have given us another trailer. They could have given us another trailer, some screenshots, something like that, but they didn't do that. "20 years in the can. Turning 20 this month. Time is moving too fast." Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, when I turned 30 and I missed my 20s, like it was like my 20s were gone at that point. It felt weird to me. Like it felt like I starting a new chapter in my life, but I didn't feel young anymore. So it's yeah, that's what I'll say about that one. But enjoy your 20s though, Jonathan. You'll have some of your best memories then. And a happy early birthday. I'll probably be wrapping up the stream here in a few minutes. For people wondering, Days Gone, I'll have another part of it tomorrow, or later today, technically, because it's already tomorrow, because it's midnight. I'm about to turn 40 next year. Oh. That's a new chapter in your life too, Zach. I wish you an early happy birthday. Pro, you are 30. You look and sound more like you're in your mid-20s. Yeah, people think that I'm a lot younger than I look. I guess that's a good thing then. You know what the really funny thing is? My father came to visit me once, and when my father came to visit me, we went to Walmart. We bought a bunch of stuff, and even though we were doing two separate transactions, my dad, he likes to drink beer occasionally. He was purchasing, a case of beer, and what happened was the cashier lady asked for me to be carded. And I said that that's not my transaction, but then she said to me that, oh, you're with him, like the beer could be for you. And I'm like, do I look like I'm under 21? And she said to me, yes. And I'm like, okay. And so, I gave her my ID. She scanned it. She looked at me, and then she said, you're good. And that was it. But, they apparently thought I was under 21 years old. They thought I was like an underage drinker. But I don't even drink. I don't even drink any beers. It was my dad who was buying that for himself. But it was like a weird situation. People tell me I look 22 and 42 at the same time. Oh. I guess that's also a compliment because they're telling you look young. Yes, that's actually what I'm considering, DHC. I'm never gonna drink alcohol even when I'm 80. That's a good idea. Yeah, alcohol destroys a lot of people's lives. I look like I'm 50 even though I'm in my 20s. I mean, don't say that, Greens. Um, I'm sure that you look fine. I mean, don't say that, dude. Uh, well, I haven't drank soda in a very long time. More than a decade. Yes, I will release the Lance betrayal video this year. This year I'll release it. Yes. I have the Reznov lore video I'm making, and the Reznov lore video is going to be big. So this is not a small video, it's going to be a decently sized video, but the Reznov lore video is going to be a really good one. Do you only drink water, Pro? For the most part, yeah. I drink juice occasionally, but mostly water. Water is mostly what I drink. Like today I had a latte. I went to McDonald's and I had I was so exhausted today that I just didn't feel like making any food, so I just went to McDonald's and I had a filet-o-fish and a latte. But I don't even really drink coffee much. I just, had that to wake me up because of the terrible last night that I had, that fire alarm going off and being woken up. It was just, yeah. I do drink a lot of lemon water, if that counts. I do drink that a lot. The only thing I drink is water. That's actually good, yeah. I don't like drinking coffee usually. I only drink it on rare occasions when I need to wake up. Yeah, I could do that, Mr. Hopkins. Yeah, we could add that to the poll, yeah. Mission failed. Mom's Blender's history. Thank you, Eclipse. You ever drink lemonade? Yeah. Do I drink energy drinks? No. I used to drink 5 Hour Energy when I would go to work in the mornings when I used to work in retail. And the thing about 5 Hour Energy is 5 Hour Energy, when I drank it, I would feel how do I explain this? I would get woken up really quickly, but then later on my heart would really hurt. Like I'd feel pain from my heart. And I googled that, and I found out that young people are at increased risk of heart attacks from drinking energy drinks. And after I found that out, I stopped drinking energy drinks. I haven't drank energy drinks in a long time. The last time I had an energy drink, it was the last time I had an energy drink was, what was it, like a couple months back, but it was on a rare occasion. It was because I was visiting my friend who lived in Maine, and I was driving from Maine to to New York, to go back to my parents for the. This was like around Thanksgiving, and my friend, he gave me two energy drinks just for the road. I had those. They tasted good. They woke me up, but that was pretty much it. I don't really have energy drinks. I did. I remember one time when I had an energy drink. It was like years ago. Years ago, I had a Celsius. I think Celsius is an energy drink, right? Because my mom brought a bunch of them from work, and I had a Celsius in the morning because I was tired. And what happened was after I drank that Celsius, I woke up, but then I couldn't stop going to the bathroom. Like the whole day, I kept going to the bathroom. I don't know why, what was wrong with me. But it had some. I definitely had something to do with the drink because it was like right after that drink, and it was like constantly the whole day, and it was like no, never again. So it's no, I'm good. No, Mr. Gamer. People mix Red Bull and liquor now. What? Did you see my question? Let me see. El Dragon. Do you know about the Italian Renaissance? Like a bit more than just what you see in Assassin's Creed 2. I think it would be interesting to see you talk about the Renaissance. I know a little bit about it. I know about what I know about the Renaissance. I know about the city-states, like Venice, Tuscany, like they were their own independent countries. I know about Nicholas Copernicus. So Copernicus is in an Assassin's Creed 2 DLC. Um, I know a little bit about him. I hope that the delay helps GTA 6, but I would wait. So Venice wasn't part of Italy during the events of Assassin's Creed 2? No. Here's the thing: is during Assassin's Creed 2, there was no such thing as Italy during the time period of Assassin's Creed 2. That the country of Italy did not exist. Um, uh, Basically, is back then Italy was just a bunch of random city states. That's what it was. So like Venice was a separate country. Tuscany was. I think Rome was another country too. What was the other? There was Venice, Rome, Tuscany. What was the other one? Florence was it? There were there was they were all different countries basically. And the thing is, nobody identified as an Italian back then. Like during the Renaissance, like during Ezio's time, people did not call themselves Italians. So that's kind of inaccurate how like in the game they refer to themselves as Italians. Back then, people would not say they're Italian. They would say, "Oh, I'm Roman." If I'm from Rome, they would say, "I'm Venetian. I'm Tuscanian. I'm Florentine." That's what they would say. They wouldn't say that I'm Italian. The concept of Italians, that concept came about like the last 200 years. So if in the last 200 years people started referring to themselves as Italians, but there were attempts to unify Italy. So people wanted to unify Italy into like one country back then. Cesare Borgia, he tried to unify Italy into one country. He launched a military conquest and he tried to unify Italy through military force. It failed. He died in his campaign. He died in battle. They had that in Assassin's Creed 2. But I will also tell you, or Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. But also, here's the thing about Cesare Borgia. When Cesare Borgia was actually arrested in Assassin's Creed 2, that actually happened. So like when he got arrested in front of Ezio, that did happen, and he did actually break out of jail. He did. He escaped through a window and he fell like a great height. He broke his leg during the escape, and then he started like leading more military campaigns, and he died in that. But like the Borgias were a very like corrupt family. They were you know if they had if the Borgias had united Italy, Italy might be an authoritarian monarchy today if they had unified Italy in the 1500s. But it was They were a family known for a lot of corruption and a lot of scandals. Do you think GTA 6 Online will be as chaotic as 5? No. And the reason I don't think it's going to be as chaotic is because the map in GTA 6 is going to be a lot bigger. So that means less players are going to be next to each other. So that means less players are going to kill each other. So that's what I think. I also don't think there's going to be all of these crazy futuristic vehicles. Thank you, Arakify, for the super chat. Rodrigo is portrayed as sympathetic in Brotherhood, but I heard in real life that's far from the truth. The thing about Rodrigo Borgia is he's really weird because he was a pope that had children. Because if you are a pope, you cannot have children. But it was before he became a pope. He was like married. I don't remember the full details, and so he had children, and then he later became pope. But it was like a weird thing about that. Yeah, but about Rodrigo Borgia, about him is he in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, like when Ezio spared him, it seemed like he kind of changed. Like he stopped being like a bad person when Ezio spared him. That was at least kind of the impression that I got. But in reality, he wasn't a good man. Rodrigo Borgia was not a good man. I will tell you something about Rodrigo Borgia though. That one mission in Assassin's Creed 2, I hated that mission in Assassin's Creed 2. The mission where you had to follow him. You know that mission in Assassin's Creed 2 where you had to follow Rodrigo Borgia and the Templars, and they were like they were like going to like this bridge, and I hated that mission so much because they would constantly turn around. Like you had to follow them, they would constantly turn around, and then the rooftops had so many guards. Like I hated that mission so much because it was one of the worst missions I played in the game. That mission was terrible. It was like the worst mission in Assassin's Creed 2. Oh, hey, Kanzai, how are you? Did I get 100% completion on story mode? Not on PS5, but I'll go for it too in the future. I could probably transfer my save from PS4, and if it's still possible, and get 100%. But no, I think what I think I'm gonna do is I think I'm just gonna finish the 100% just like this on PS5. The tailing missions in Assassin's Creed games suck. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah, and the thing about Assassin's Creed is, I'll tell you something. I feel like Assassin's Creed died with Desmond. I think it did. Because I actually liked Desmond a lot as a character. I really liked him, and I hated that they killed him. I hated that. I hated that so much. So, like, I don't think they should have ever killed him. I think he should have been the main character in the future. He should have been the guy you play as in the future time, or modern time, I should say. But I hated that they killed him. I hated that so much. I did enjoy a lot of the Assassin's Creed games after Assassin's Creed 3. Like, I enjoyed Black Flag. I enjoyed Rogue a lot. But I just got Desmond's death. It just hurt me. I didn't like it. Yeah, I'll do a GTA 4 100% completion stream one day too. Yeah. Why are you wearing a mask? That's part of my costume here. But I guess we will be going here, guys. Thoughts on the leaks of Fallout 3 Remastered? I'm excited. If Fallout 3 Remastered comes out, I'll do an Evil Karma playthrough, which will be a lot of fun. Will you do any more Assassin's Creed games? Yeah, I want to go back to doing Assassin's Creed 1 one day, and then I could do 2 and the third one. And I could talk a lot of history. I did try Oblivion Remastered, but I haven't done gameplay of it, but I want to. I have never had it, JBK. I know my questions are off topic, but they need answering. Do you think children will be a thing in GTA 6? No. If children are in GTA 6, they're only going to be in cutscenes. You had that happen in Vice City Stories. There was a cutscene of a baby, but no, I think no, because that would be too controversial. Because if there was like kids in GTA 6, all the violence in GTA 6, if like you could actually harm them in the game, that would be very controversial, and Rockstar could get in serious trouble for that. So Rockstar's not going to risk that. There are a few games that had like children, like the Fallout games, but in the Fallout games, how they got away with that is that in the Fallout games, you could not kill the children. You couldn't do that. The only way you could kill the children in Fallout games was like in Fallout 3, like if you nuked Megaton, you killed the children with the bomb, but it was off screen. So that was like that was basically that. So I don't think that they would have, no, I don't think they would have kids in a GTA game. No. Thank you, Arakify, for the super chat. There are kids in Red Dead Redemption 2. Jack is the only kid that I can think of. Well, just Jack, but yeah, I'll do Black Ops 2 later this year, and also Yakuza Kiwami. So I guess we'll be going here, guys. Good night, buddy. You're my favorite GTA content. Thank you, Mr. Gamer. If you guys enjoyed my stream, do drop a like if you guys enjoyed my stream, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe to me, please. It does help the content out a lot. For anybody who plays Fallout 76, if you're interested, sign my petition at the top of the chat. I pinned it to add playable super mutants to the game. We're trying to get to 50 signatures. I don't know if we have actually gotten to 50 signatures yet. Let me actually see that there. I thought that would be pretty cool. We got 2 signatures also. If 2 more people can sign that, we get to 50 signatures. That would be a massive goal for the petition. But thank you guys for watching. Tomorrow I will have another part of Days Gone. For people wondering where Days Gone is, tomorrow I'll have another part. So thank you everybody for hanging out with me. Thank you everybody who came by the stream, liked that. I really appreciate the support. Today was one of the biggest streams that I did. Over 500 people watching. So thank you guys. You guys are awesome. I will see you guys on the next one. We'll be doing a Red Dead Online stream on Sunday. Take care everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.